The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lucas Jaguar. Buy your next car or book your MOT service or repair online. The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
The afternoon started in Paisley, a Rangers victory by 1-0 against St Mirren, and now it's over to the 3 o'clock participants. We've got many big games to look forward to, but let's go back to Celtic Park ahead of that visit of Ross County, and Andrew McLean is there taking that one in.
Yeah, Celtic led out by captain Callum McGregor. What an achievement for him today. 450 Celtic appearances. Trophy-laden spell at the club will continue, you would expect, for a long time. But 450 appearances, a whole load of trophies, and he has the admiration of every single Celtic fan in this stadium. Every single Celtic fan in this stadium will also be aware that Rangers have cut the gap to 2 points, which makes 3 even more vital for Celtic today. They had a dominant display last weekend, as you'd expect them to, against Buckie Thistle, but they'll be hoping they can replicate that type of performance and scoreline today. In terms of personnel, it was all eyes on left back Greg Taylor, out injured for a few weeks. People wondered who Brendan Rodgers would pick in that left back position. It's going to be Alejandro Bernabe that plays there today. He's yet to prove himself, only 4 appearances for the club this season. That will maybe ramp up the questions from Celtic fans about the lack of recruitment this month. The only one in so far for Brendan Rodgers in January is Nicholas Kuhn, who's on the bench for them today. I'll run through the starting lineup quickly. Joe Hart in goal, Alistair Johnson, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales and Alejandro Bernabe at the back. The midfield 3, Callum McGregor, Paulo Bernardo and Matt O'Reilly. The 3 up top, Leila Bada, Kyogo and Lewis Palma. As for Ross County, winless in 5, really isn't clicking for Derek Adams, as we know, has had a few interesting things to say about his squad. 6 signings this window and all 6 start today. George Wickens in goal. The back 4, James Brown, Will Nightingale, Loic Aina and Cameron Borthwick-Jackson. The midfield 5, Victor Laturi, Brandon Kella, Eli King, Teddy Jenks and Jan Danda. It will be Simon Murray leading the line, and the players on the pitch today, they'll be wearing black armbands because former Celtic player Stuart Gray has sadly passed away at the age of 50 following an illness, of course the son of Leeds United legend Eddie Gray.
Yeah, that'll be a poignant moment, I'm sure. Sad news coming out of Celtic this afternoon, so just before we get that one underway, worth bearing that in mind. But certainly a big day of football ahead, not only at Celtic Park but also around the Premiership and beyond as well. Look at some of the lower league fixtures, which we will do. Fantastic games: Killie Hibs, Hearts Aberdeen, St Johnstone Motherwell, Livy Dundee, and of course we will take you through all the action on a Saturday afternoon. So let's get this one up and running.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get the help you need to quit with the smoking cessation programme.
Right, okay, you all predicted Rangers would win, but I don't think the scoreline predictions were too clever. One of you said 2-1. Who was that?
Mark Wilson.
Yes,
I mean, you at least
one
got
goal,
you at least got that it would be narrow. So not a vintage start on the predictor. What are you looking for in these featured matches this afternoon?
Keep this very, very simple for you. 4 Premiership games that we are featuring. For me, 4 home wins for Celtic, Kilmarnock, Hearts and St Johnstone.
Okay,
I'm going to go for a Celtic win, but the other 3 games to be draws.
Oh, that's a bold shout, that.
I'm not too far away from that. I'm going Celtic home win.
Whoa, before you've even got the words out your mouth.
Yeah.
Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Celtic 1, Ross County 0, and Alistair Johnston shot deflected past the keeper. A dream start for Celtic, a nightmare start for Ross County. Some of the other games haven't even started yet.
Wow.
Celtic are a goal to the good.
AJ VG for very good.
VAR check for possible offside, of course, because there always
Get
is.
a microphone in front of Derek Adams
Well,
right
that's
now to see what he's thinking.
The kind of run that Derek's having, this is all he needs for a goal to be conceded as quickly as that. If it stands, what an awful start for Ross County. What a wonderful, refreshing start for Celtic and the fans who are there. and it moves Nicholas Kuhn one goal closer to coming on and letting the fans see what he can do.
You are looking far ahead. We're 1 minute in.
Is it stand?
Kuhn on.
We've got Nicholas Kuhn on. We don't really know yet. We're
Right,
still
well-
waiting.
Well, I don't want to have an advantage, so I'll go Celtic home win.
Still checking it, so it must be tight. Oh, never a good sign. Kilmarnock, the ref is at the side of the pitch. There's a Kilmarnock official on a mobile phone. It's not started yet. Maybe a breakdown in the old comms. That can happen.
Yeah.
See that last night in the Man City Tottenham game? How long did that take to sort out?
Horrendous.
The referee was loving it. He knew the camera was
That was
on him.
hor-
How many wires?
Goal given. Celtic do lead, a first minute goal from Alistair Johnson. It seems to be some sort of issue with the VAR screen at Rugby Park, which is so annoying. It just looks bad. It's just frustrating, and like we said, Hugh, it can happen. There's not a great deal you can do about it, I suppose, but they might. Here's a novel idea.
Yeah.
Because see if it can't be fixed. Do you know what they'll do?
Play without it.
They'll carry on and they'll take the referee's word as final.
What?
Unbelievable,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's a bit
No,
radical.
they'll do that. They will. I know it's
Radical.
crazy.
These things happen. It can happen to the best of us and in the biggest of grounds. So we'll have to hope that situation, well, it will resolve itself one way or another, because the game must go on. But what an astonishing start at Celtic Park. You know, it's the own goal of all time. But Alistair Johnson happy to claim it.
And what I'm hearing, Hugh, Burnaby plays a massive part in the goal.
Well, do you know what? Actually, the deflection might be off Burnaby, and I wonder. I think there was a few things they were checking. There was the initial, the cross from Burnaby. I think Kyogo and Abada, they looked tight, and then when Johnson's shot comes in, I actually think it from what I'm hearing, it might be the deflection off Burnaby or near Burnaby, and that's why they were checking it. But anyway, it stands, and it is a lightning quick start from Celtic. Not so lightning quick at Rugby Park, where some sort of technological delay has struck. Is it just me, or does David Friel always get a delay?
Yeah.
Have I made that up? No, genuinely feel like
And give him 5 minutes and he'll come out with his usual statement about how bad the game is.
there is an official
Scrappy.
there is now
Scrappy.
there's now an official delay as opposed to
Just a delay.
an unofficial
So
delay.
do you have to clarify then that the communication system will not work, and therefore you'll have to revert to the way football used to be
They're
played?
trying to get the issues resolved, but we've got another quick start.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It's a goal for St Johnstone. McGowan bundled it in from close range. Again, similar story to Celtic Park. Dream start for the hosts, nightmare start for the visitors. Motherwell have it all to do. St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 0. Maybe it's a bit early for the all to do shout, but there we go.
I always seemed a game that the goal was going to be bundled in.
100%.
By the way, you know, loads of balls into the 6-yard box, but and put across the line by McGowan. But terrible start that for Ross County and Motherwell. But as Dad says,
I worry for
best time to lose a goal.
Yeah, but I'm starting to worry for Motherwell. I really am. I know they got a result against Alloa. You're expecting that in the cup last week at for Park. Still made it a bit difficult for ourselves. There's just things going against them. I've not even got to Kilmarnock House, but I took St Johnstone to beat Motherwell just in case somebody thought I was jumping the bandwagon with the St Johnstone goal. Hearts Aberdeen draw, and I fancy. Here's my shock. If the game ever gets underway,
It is underway.
I'm taking Hibs.
The issues have been resolved there, so we are underway. There's a VAR check, I assume, on that St Johnstone goal. It's a heck of a delay. It's still ongoing, so we'll wait and see. Certainly seems to me like there was some sort of issue that should rule the goal out, but I don't know what. But we can.
What eyesight you have! You can see Perth from here.
Anyway, just what I'm hearing. Anyway, Celtic a goal to the good. St Johnstone, as it stands, a goal to the good. A lively old start, Hugh. So with that in mind, let's get this up and running.
Okay.
The first half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Nice and simple. Can you tell me the last 6 Old Firm managers to have won a top flight domestic league outside of Scotland? The last 6 Old Firm managers to have won a top flight domestic league outside of Scotland. Who are they?
Good question. I like that. At Clyde
no one.
SSB. Not only do you have to come up with all of the correct answers, you have to put them down on one tweet. and send it over to at Clyde SSB quicker than everybody else. So get thinking, at Clyde SSB, send it over and let us know if you think you're in with a chance of winning that first half teaser. At Clyde SSB, go. The race is on. Goal is given at St Johnstone, a very long check, but the goal given, so St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 0. And as we said, Celtic 1 up there at home to Ross County.
Well, St Johnstone, since they brought in the golden oldie, Craig Levein, he got a good result midweek, 1-1 with Aberdeen. They are just clawing their way to safety. They don't want to know anything about playoffs or anything like it, so that's a very good start for them. Motherwell, the transfer window has been very unkind to Motherwell because they've lost their best hope of a goal, and that's their biggest problem now. Where do the goals come from?
It's not just where the goals come from, Hugh. If you look at that table against, they've lost more goals than anybody else in the Premier League. It's worrying times, there's no doubt about it. Where is Taylor Swift?
Sorry?
Taylor Swift.
With the money. Right.
She's in the news for different reasons.
Come on.
Thought that was just a general inquiry of yours. But yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Where is she with the investment? Get it sorted. Get a cheque sent over.
Need to nip out and see how my eyes are doing. We need a change at Fir Park.
Absolutely. Still the same scoreline in all those games then. No updates to bring you. Goalless between Hearts and Aberdeen, goalless between Kelly Hibs, which was a delayed start of course, and the Livy game as well. We've got the first half teaser up and running. We're not far away from giving you reaction to the game in Paisley. Ross County have actually responded quite well. A couple of corners back to back, but no real effort at the end of it. That's what makes that start devastating if you're a small team going to Celtic Park, isn't it?
It's an astonishing team he's got. 6 players brought in the transfer window, and all 6 starting the match. Very much a man who goes his own way, Derek Adams.
It goes to show what, like I said earlier, that what he thought of what was left behind and what he was managing when he came out, with his statement a couple of weeks ago about the product, and then last week, I mean, that was something else. Last week, his post-match interview, he dug himself all sorts of holes there
and then denied it.
He denied it.
He believed that the interpretation put on it was not the interpretation he meant to be put on it.
Yeah, well, to be fair, if you look at the situation, 6 players, you've got to say that they've still belief in him up there. Roy McGregor's obviously backed him, but he's got to start producing. He's got to start winning games. I don't think he's got excuses now. As I say, he's brought in more than half a team, so it's up to himself to go in. But difficult today. I'm not counting today because I don't see them getting in.
But when you look at his post-match press conferences, though, Roy McGregor must have known what he was getting involved with. Again, bring them back to the club. He must have known there was a risk of him being outspoken as he is. But I just wonder if he would have thought he would have went as far as he is sometimes with his criticism. And people say, well, he's only been honest and speaking his mind, but you've still got to get a tune out of your players for the remainder of the season to keep you in this league.
Life's hard enough for them. They're second bottom on the table. You don't need internal strife going on unless you're unified, going out there with a common purpose. You get no chance. And right now they're all over the place.
I mean, the wonders of modern technology. Someone sent me a clip. Don't know how they do these things. Just less said about it, the better of that St Johnstone goal. I think Stuart Kettlewell might be unhappy, and I know you think, you're bound to say that. But St Johnstone player kind of in front of Liam Kelly. I think that's why the delay, trying to judge, is he offside, is he interfering with the goalkeeper?
And in your opinion, yes.
Because he's so close, he's right in front of Liam Kelly. Like I say, maybe.
Yeah.
Just one to
a Motherwell fan would say though that
conspiracy.
Just you listen to see what Stuart Kettlewell has to say at full time. That's all I'll say. But anyway, no other goals to tell you about at the moment. Answers starting to come in on that first half teaser. Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel
working away,
fighting their way through it as well.
A couple of wrong answers on there already.
They're 50% of the way there, let me tell you.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
should be easy enough then if they 3 are making progress like that so quickly. No offence.
None taken.
How's the ankle holding up? Got the crutch
I'm
next to
moving.
your area.
I'm trying to move it, Gordon. It's easing up a little bit.
Is it good?
Did you ice it?
Yeah, ice and a bit of heat this morning. I had the ice bucket out, foot in it. Remember all days, eh? Oh, there was the worst days in the world, that. But and then obviously a little massage on it.
Are you
You massage yourself?
Yeah. Get
you-
the leg up over
Over the shoulder.
Over what? Sorry.
over the shoulder.
Okay.
There you go.
Ross County have. I'm not going to exaggerate this and say they're pinning Celtic in, but it's another corner, and Celtic are playing a lot of the game in their own half at the moment, which might surprise you.
There's a negative aspect to going in front that early, in that people turn off subconsciously. Now, as I say, I'm always accused of exaggeration, hyperbole, call it what you will.
Definitely.
But
Both.
if Celtic slip up at home against Ross County, then you can forget it.
Remember, was it the first game of the season? Was it the goal they concedes from a set piece, wasn't it? Was it Danda whipping it right in over Joe Hart? And ended up an okay day for Celtic that day, but they caused them problems. But I think they're a much worse team now.
You don't know. The 6 new players might be brilliant.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, take your point.
Some
They might be,
changes
isn't it?
Well, from Morecambe.
I think there was one, wasn't there, that's played for Morecambe, certainly.
Yeah.
Well, he certainly knows the leagues down there. He's been down there a long time, Derek, and it's up to him to get the right fit to bring players up and get them out of this bit of trouble that they're certainly in. But I don't think anybody expects them to get anything Celtic Park. It's what happens after this game for me.
Yeah, it's that Alistair Johnson goal. I'm not 100% sure if it has gone down as his. I think it probably did.
He certainly wasn't the last player to touch it.
No, but of course, if it was a Ross County player, the shot was on target. It probably goes down as it would go down as Alistair Johnson's goal. I just wasn't sure. If it was
Scored many of
Bernabei that
those.
got the final
My cup
touch.
final one reminds me of
Nothing like
something
that.
like that, where it just
No.
skiffed off Craig.
No, it did. Honestly,
And
that shot.
he was unlucky.
I actually think it was a cross
Just to,
that you hit in that cup
take a
final.
nick
The
off
one
him.
at Craigan. I was actually speaking to him the other day, and Craig's actually says to me, I hate to say this, but it was my goal. So I don't know what
he
he's.
wouldn't admit that, because that's an embarrassment.
He'd have to.
If you scored an own goal in a cup
No,
final,
he'd
that's
have to.
embarrassing.
Your shot is your cross is on its way to Mount Florida.
But listen, it was caused trouble, caused panic. And that's what you aim for, Gordon, when you're in and around the box. A full back, it caused
But
panic.
it doesn't make it
Well-
your goal.
And it's something I'll always treasure. Cup final goals are hard to come by, and I've got one.
David Friel says Stephen Craigan is 2 yards behind him working, so we could always ask his verdict on
Well, I've got to say, I
David,
just made that
concentrate
up.
in the game.
it. Good ball from Abada. Ayina's vital interception there, because Kyogo was about to get a shot away. So Celtic with the opportunity, but good defending from Ross County. Well, there you are, Palmerston Pep. What a journey that is. Cove
winning?
Rangers 0, Queen of the South. Dumfries up to Cove. Jack Bryden has scored on 13 minutes, and Marv's side have the lead.
He'll be in on Wednesday then.
Well,
it's still
no,
a bit to
need
go.
wait and
It's
see.
still a bit to go up there. Hard place to go and get a result.
Cove, nice little stadium. I've said that before. Nice wee set.
Never
up there.
been here.
Me neither, still never been.
That's lovely. Lovely.
Seagulls are winning, Hugh.
Yeah,
I feel like that.
Sheffield United, yeah.
0, Brighton 1.
Who was a goal scorer?
Buonanotte.
Yes.
That's very well pronounced, Gordon.
That's an
why
easy one.
you are.
You've just dived in there. That's
Yeah.
easy.
One. No, but they've taken me a bit. What's his first name?
Facundo.
Facundo.
Does that mean
He'd
good night?
better
No?
take-
Does that not mean good night?
Yes, yes, yes.
Anyway.
Facundo means good night.
Oh, the surname.
All right.
Great running shot. Matty Kennedy saved. So Kilmarnock looking to go on the offensive early on in that one. Remember, that game is behind the others. Just a slight delay, a problem with the VAR technology, but it got cleared up relatively quickly, and off we go.
Oh, you'd thought that Celtic would have built on that amazing start, but
15 minutes in, Hugh.
time for
I know.
time for
Give them
substitutions.
time to breathe.
I know. Get him time to get warmed up.
It's only
Hugh.
one Hugh after 15. Many you looking for?
Time for
Heavy
subs.
work.
Could you
Heavy
imagine?
work of it.
Could you imagine Hugh actually went along paid into a game?
Or imagine Hugh was your manager. You know, and you're 30 seconds in and he's giving it subs, go and get warmed up.
I was worried last week because we spoke this time last Saturday about Celtic Bucky Thistle, and you'll remember he was very clear 4-0
Yeah.
was unacceptable. It
5.
had to be 5.
Yeah.
And I was there working at the game on the Sunday, and I was worried. I thought this needs to get to 5,
Or the fans will be
or Hugh
revolting
Keevins
outside.
will not be happy. And it did. It got there in good time for you.
And I said that I dropped Rangers to a 4. I said a 4 would only be acceptable for them at Dumbarton, because Dumbarton are at least an SPFL club. So they heeded my words and scored 4. Celtic heeded my words and scored 5. I stand
You're an
correct.
influencer in your own right, not the kind that we're familiar with nowadays, but
Were you well sheltered, Gordon, at the game? I've seen the conditions.
yeah, it was
Didn't
actually
look
fine. It was
great.
probably one of the only grounds in the country that you would have got away with it.
Oh,
It just seemed to
looked
swirl
horrible.
round the centre circle, and it didn't really go any further, luckily, because it was horrendous, wasn't it?
Yeah. What about the Bucky travelling support though, coming all the way down?
Unbelievable. What, 2,000?
2,500 or something like that.
They had a great day, and I thought Celtic treated them exceptionally well. The players, the management of the club, everything about it. They acknowledged the kind of fairy tale aspect of it all for Bucky Thistle. I thought it was a very nice
Did
occasion.
Brendan Rodgers not get in the dressing room? And
Yeah.
Well, he gave a wee
Yeah.
speech, didn't he?
That's quite nice. I imagine the Rangers supporters sitting there.
What they should have done was let the striker score. See when he was through and goal. The Joe Hart should have just dived the other way and
That's-
let it go in.
That's match fixing.
No,
What an
that's-
opportunity.
yeah,
For
you seen
them.
what happened to Michael Beale when he let Partick score?
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
Beginning of the end for him.
Who's he playing today?
Is he
Actually,
still in the job?
I'm actually watching it.
Who?
Michael Beale.
Oh, he's having a torrid time, isn't he?
He's away from home today, I think.
Because he's been
Or
getting
are
all
they?
sorts of stick now. They're at home to Stoke.
Oh, he needs to win that. It's a bit unfair, isn't it? Look, I don't care what you say about him. He's went into a new job. He's hardly in the door, and they're wanting him sacked. It's incredible football now.
Paulo Bernardo's shot well saved by Wickens in the goal. Paulo Bernardo starting to find his shooting boots, Mark.
Yeah.
There's the obvious caveat because you say only Bucky, but the finish itself probably one that the kind of quality of it stands regardless of the opposition, because it's a difficult skill to execute the way he dinked the goalkeeper last week.
Very good. I'm quickly changing my opinion on him since that game on Boxing Day against Dundee, where he scores the goal, then falls up against Rangers. His confidence has obviously went through the roof, but just his overall, interactions within the game, never mind his goals, I think has been much improved. Very much cut from the same cloth as Matt O'Reilly, and that's when you tend to think, has Celtic done this very well, that Matt O'Reilly will go in the summer for a huge fee, and they've just got a ready-made replacement that took a wee bit longer to get up to speed than people would have hoped, but he's there and he's scoring goals and he plays the same way, he knows the system, and they'll get him for a good price. But his goal against Bucky was good, and he's one of the first names on the team sheet nowadays for Brendan Rodgers.
Interesting one you mentioned earlier, with Dessers now having 8 goals and Kyogo on 8 goals. It's astonishing. Kyogo for the last 2 seasons has been talismanic. Sensational signing for Celtic. But slow start to this season, and Celtic could do with him coming alive.
Hamilton Accies are 1-up on Montrose. Kevin O'Hara with the goal there. Marconde is the new Hibs signing, the guy who said during the week he felt like a cold pasta dish. Coming back from injury, he's running things for Hibs at the moment, says David Field. Dropping deep, getting on the ball, looks a very tidy player, as you would expect in terms of pedigree. So it'll be interesting to see if some of the contacts that Hibs are using can pay off and turn into sensible acquisitions that can fire them up that table, Hugh.
They could really do with a fresh impetus, because their midweek performance against Rangers, not detracting from what Rangers did, but Hibs were pitiful, and Celtic missed a sitter to go 2-up.
Yeah, it's the result I'm looking for today. I don't know what it is. I like the way he's attacking style. I really like that. But you've got to have the personnel for me. I watched them against Rangers, Hibs in midweek. They played 2 in the middle of the park. That ball players like to go on the ball. But Rangers just ran over the top of them with the 3. And he plays 2 wide guys with bags of pace, 2 up top. He really has a goal. But the one thing I don't like about Hibs is I think they've got defenders that ain't particularly good at their job.
Ooh, big goal in one of the other Premiership matches. Livy 0, Dundee 1. Amadou Bakayoko on 19 minutes.
Well, nothing.
Livy just can't get much right at the moment. Albeit though they did get the cup win, which was important.
Well, I'm very much afraid that the cup, it's okay. You get, some extra revenue, and they could do with that. That's for sure. But there's a look about them, the look of a doomed team in the Premiership.
Good save from Mitov, who has been a very good signing for St Johnstone, you have to say. And it's the former St Johnstone striker, the Bear, Theo Bear, close range, but it's a good save from the Bulgarian goalkeeper. And it remains St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 0.
Let me remind you of that teaser. Can you name the last 6 Old Firm managers to have won a top flight domestic league outside of Scotland? The last 6 Old Firm managers to have won a top flight domestic league outside of Scotland. Who are they?
It's a great question, and I would have to say most of you are certainly there or thereabouts. You've not all got them all, if that makes sense. But it's certainly a good effort. Hugh, let's do some wrong answers. Thomas wants to throw in Dr. Joe.
No siree.
Okay, so Vingloss is not on the list. What else? Most of you are definitely in the right ballpark, but you just need to clean them up a bit and try and get all 6. Arthur Daly goes for Kenny Dalglish.
Kenny, no.
Not in the last 6. There we go. Keep your guesses coming in then at Clyde SSB. And
You've done all right in this.
I'm reliably informed that there's a very difficult second half teaser coming up. As the problem with this is this was meant to be for the listeners, the second half teaser, but they're trying to make them even harder to stop Gordon DL getting the correct answer.
Do you want me to stay out at that?
No, not at all.
I
Wouldn't
think
dream
we
of it.
No, you become a cultural
But
phenomenon.
hold on a minute, Hugh. Please do me a favour. Stand away over there so I can't read that, as Mark said.
Okay.
I can't read Mark's work, never mind yours.
Penalty Celtic. Callum McGregor goes down under the challenge from Simon Murray, and there'll be a chance after they check it, of course, because Simon Murray was livid with Callum McGregor for going down. They'll have a look, and if it's given, Luis Palma probably.
Yeah.
He's the penalty taker these days. Celtic have had a few this season, but I would imagine Luis Palma.
He's hit and miss when it comes to penalties. I think he does all the dancing and what have you, but some go in, some don't.
Yeah, generally, yeah. What's he got? Missed 1, scored 3, 2 or 3, is it? Something like that. But there was the old, pushing and shoving. Simon Murray accusing Callum McGregor of going down too easily. As far as I know, the penalty stands.
And if this goes in, it's just a case of how many this afternoon for Celtic, isn't it?
Doing all right, Palmer just now. 5 goals, 9 assists, about 75 corners whipped at the pitch, which frustrates Celtic fans. But those numbers and goals and assists, why he's at the club.
Luis Palma steps up, saved. Hugh Keevins, you called it hit and miss. This one was a miss, or more specifically, it was low to the keeper's right. It's a good save from the goalkeeper, and Celtic missed the opportunity to go 2 in front.
Well, that's sloppy. The Ross County are there as sacrificial lambs, and they've gone a goal down inside 60 seconds, and then they get a penalty against them, and you don't take advantage of it.
When
Sloppy.
was the last decent penalty taker Celtic had?
Tommy Gemmell.
Oh, remember, he just goalkeepers used to run round the back of the goals before Tommy Gemmell took a penalty kick.
It's never been something I can remember Celtic have been blessed with.
Here's one for you, Mark. Then.
So that's
obviously
Luis
he'll
Palma's,
take him off the penalties.
That's Luis Palma's 5th. Scored 3, missed 2.
Right, he's off him.
This season Turnbull has taken 4, scored 3, missed 1. Tati's taken 2, scored 1, missed 1. So
who's on them next?
Do you know what? It fascinates me. Why doesn't Kyogo just hit them?
Well, he might be next.
He missed one before,
or it goes to Callum McGregor, who's.
Well, what about Matt Riley, who takes
just
the set
spreading
pieces?
the love?
They can whip the ball in for corner kicks, but he can't whip it in the top corner for 12
So-
yards.
so far-
Hold on. They're still checking. To see if there was encroachment or whether the goalkeeper stayed on his line. And we've got one of these. And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They've got Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. The Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showroom found in Hillington. And right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Every approved used Jaguar, Land Rover or Volvo comes with a minimum of 12 months warranty, roadside assistance, MOT test warranty, an independent mileage and service history check, software updates and lots more. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now back to the podcast.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It's the battle of the strikers, and it's first blood. Bojan Majowski, Hearts 0, Aberdeen 1. It's a brilliant finish, left footed, curled high into the top corner. Great start for Aberdeen in that one. Hearts 0, the Dandy Dons 1.
Well, they certainly specialise in making life difficult for themselves, Hearts.
Penalty retake at Celtic Park.
Who's taking it?
The Celtic fans were booing the delay for some reason, but it's gone in their favour. Because either, and I'm not sure which, Wickens either came off his line or there was encroachment. Very frustrating, but that's kind of what it's there for as well, I guess. VAR is now checking a foul in the build up to the Majowski goal, so we'll keep an eye there. Aberdeen were involved in a busy one during the week as far as VAR was concerned.
Is Palmer retaking the penalty, is he? Or you wouldn't imagine him to pass it over in this situation.
Saved again.
Okay, get him off the penalties. Get him off.
Saved again.
The penalties.
Saved again. Lewis Palmer goes the same way. The goalie goes the same way. That is incredible. And Kevin Clancy goes to the screen at Tynecastle, so I suspect that Bojan Majowski goal is about to be ruled out. But let's stick with the penalties. Lewis Palmer's now missed twice.
Well, I go back to the use of the word sloppy. Celtic have got an own goal inside 60 seconds.
It's not an own goal. It's Alistair Johnson's goal.
Well,
no, but officially, that's not something you really can debate.
Well, okay. They get some kind of goal inside 60 seconds.
Alistair Johnson scored here.
It's literally just Alistair Johnson's goal.
Right, okay. You got a goal inside 60 seconds. Bernardo then misses an absolute sitter, and Celtic twice take a penalty and miss. Sloppy.
Yeah, so the first one was for encroachment, Mark, because the thing that does for Ross County is one of the players who encroaches. I think there were a few, but one of them is the guy that clears it after the goalie makes the save. So that's the trigger to retake it. I think he's got to be off them now, surely.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Louis
I was surprised that somebody didn't just take the ball off him. That's what I did.
Well, the man making his 450th appearance, the captain, should make a call on the park. He's the general on the field. But
goal disallowed. Hearts 0, Aberdeen 0. I feel like when there's a retake, it's always the same player.
Yeah,
it's different if you get one later in the game. It's a retake.
But this is a player who has said to you before he even touched the ball the first time.
Listen, I get all that. But if you get one later in the game, there becomes a debate. When a penalty's given to retake, it's always the same player that retakes it.
Know the reason why I would change it? Because I think he always goes the same way, and the goalkeeper knows that. You watch this.
I'm just telling you, he was always taking the second when it's retaken. Just
because I've been in those shoes. You're thinking, right, will the goalkeeper think I'm going the same way, or do I change it? I always changed it. I was never successful.
Well, I think he's done enough now to make sure that whoever takes the penalties, it's not Lewis Palmer.
All credit to the goalkeeper. 2 out of 2.
But as you say, if he keeps sending it the same way.
Oh, it's a double.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal, Motherwell. It's an equaliser, and it's Theo Bair against his former team. We are level there. St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 1, and it's a goal for Kilmarnock. It's a Corey Ndaba header. Armstrong's cross. Killie 1, Hibs 0.
Oh, what a great start to the day.
I'm loving this.
Yeah.
Goals, controversy everywhere.
That's him up to 6.
Recent goal scorer for Motherwell. He's playing with a bit of confidence, and he's scoring again. So good on him for
Yeah,
Kilmarnock.
an important goal, Mark. I'm not denying that. An important goal. Kilmarnock, they're a surprise package this year. They've got some good players, good squad, especially at home. They're very difficult to beat, and they're off to a good start against as would I call Hibs a struggling Hibs side just now?
Yes.
Why wouldn't you? Aye.
Just in case I get picked up for it.
You fancied Hibs today, didn't you? That's sure.
I fancied Tibbs, yeah. There's still plenty of time to go.
Yeah.
I
aren't a surprise for me this season. I think in your predictions, I definitely had them in the top 6 anyway. Just the way Derek McInnes, went about his recruitment this summer.
Hibs' last 5 games, 3 losses, 1 draw, 1 win. 1 win, 5. That's
Hugh, they can't defend.
no.
Why would they not make that a priority though in the transfer window? Why would they not prioritise 2 centre halves who can, 1, defend, you're totally right,
And bring the ball in.
and 2, bring the ball out and fit into your style of play.
Yeah, I do agree. I don't understand why he's not went down that road. He's got bags of pace. He's got a threat up top. I like his style. I'm not going to have a go at the lad because I think he's very positive. But you've got to be solid if you're playing that formation.
Celtic fans will not like this. Matt O'Reilly was in some pain and the physio came on. He is going to continue. David Turnbull was getting ready, but O'Reilly will continue for now. Hearts fans are getting restless because it's still they've had that VAR let off, but they're getting a bit restless. Polvara's gone inches wide with a low shot. There was a check on the Killie goal, but it stands. Corey and Daba, told you, keep meeting him in the gym. I've been giving him a wee pep talk and he's obviously listened. I'm going to go best teeth in Scottish football as well. There you go. There's the award that you never
Best
knew
teeth.
that you never knew existed.
Best teeth.
Oh, what a smile. Forget his goal scoring
You're
exploits.
getting no bad setting
No,
ashers
no.
on you as well.
Champions League level.
And
Is he?
all his own.
Oh
all
yeah, no, I
natural.
would say so as well.
Are
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
Well done to him.
Brilliant. Stay tuned for more cutting edge footballing analysis as the afternoon continues. I'm telling you, you'll
Best
notice it now.
teeth.
I'm telling you,
I'm going to look for this
these
boy.
things are important. They are important. But the Hearts fans are getting restless, as we said.
Well, they booed them off at half time on Wednesday and they came back and scored 3 goals. So they're a tough crowd to please at Tynecastle, and that's the way it should be. They put in millions of pounds per season, the foundation of Hearts. The fans really do make that club, but they're tetchy. I like their style.
Just like you, really, isn't it? Which fits because that was the scene of one of your most famous.
Handbag.
Yeah.
When you got hit in the head by a women's handbag at
Yeah.
Tynecastle, didn't you?
Yep. Famously knocked my glasses off. And for the listening audience, it was a real blow because I couldn't see the pitch. And but
Did you not also get punched at Tynecastle? Not that we should
Yeah.
laugh. I mean, obviously not. Wouldn't condone that sort of thing.
By a guy who had borrowed his grandfather's season ticket and traced him through that. Celtic won 2-1, and I got
Whacked.
what we know as a dab in the pus.
Poor Shug, honestly.
Intentionally, he punched you.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
No, he just
Sort of
threw his
questions that.
arm.
No, in case like somebody scored in the celebrations,
No, it's full
his
time,
flailing arm caught you.
Full time, and we were sitting at the second back row of the stand, and it was all getting a bit
Heated, shall we say?
yeah. And then I stood up to look at them because I, always keep a look at the people who you suspect might be up to no good, and it quickly came out of the blue. Boom.
Oh.
What did you do? Start crying?
I went backwards, and the Hearts fans caught me and put me up like it was a circus act.
Honestly.
Then hid
This
behind
guy.
the press guys going, let me arm, stick him up.
Been through the mill here over the years.
Oh, I'm still standing, as Elton said.
Safer in here.
Liam Gordon was down injured for St Johnstone. He's up again, but it looks like he is coming off. So a
Is
bit of
it-
a blow at the back.
Is
that one
O'Reilly
is
or
level.
Turnbull on the park?
No, O'Reilly's fine.
Yeah.
Well, for now. Yeah, he's fine.
William Gordon seems to be one of those players that has just been at St Johnstone forever.
Whatever, yeah. He's a fair age,
I
isn't
think
he?
because he
Is
has.
he? Yeah.
He's been there a long time. Good experienced
He's
player.
not actually a fair age. He's just been there a while.
Is he? I thought he was well in his 30s.
Fair age. Wait, give us his age. What is he?
What are you laughing at?
He's 24. He was born in 1999.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking.
Fair
Do you
age.
know something? I'm thinking somebody else.
You think the
You're
Craig Gordon?
thinking Andy Considine.
You think
I'm thinking
Liam Craig?
Liam Craig.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but different-
my,
different
He
name.
doesn't play anymore. But that's
my
fine.
apologies. That's why he's old. No, my apologies into that young lad, 24. He's got his full football
Fair
career in
age,
front of him.
yeah.
Sunderland are
Experienced lad.
0-0 Dazzler, in case you're.
Yeah, I'm getting behind that one. Sure.
Do you want to hear from some? I say some managers as if it's a random collection of managers, but specifically Philippe Clement and
Yes.
Stevie Robinson. Okay, let's hear from Clement on their winning mentality today.
It's dangerous to start calling it a machine, because the moment players start to think that it's something that is normal and the machine just goes, then the machine will stop. So we need to continue what we have been doing, and that's showing really good mentality all the time, all the players available, whoever is playing, because we are also the only team who will play in 3 competitions still, so we will have more games than all the other teams. So we need this rotation. We need all the players to be ready, mentally, physically, tactically, and we need to continue like that. So I'm really pleased about today. It's a big step forward. End of December, beginning of January, a few people in the club, a few fans told me that I had to watch out, that this team are slow starters, the second part of the season. So we had a few tricky games already, and they did it in a good way. So let's continue in that way and be switched on and not thinking that we're a machine. Those are things you can say after a season, that it was a machine. The moment you start to think you're a machine, you will go down.
A colourful way of ruling out complacency. You know, I like the way he speaks, and the analogy about the machinery is absolutely correct, but it's just his way, slightly theatrical way of saying, don't be complacent, don't assume that any match is a given. And you know, today's match was, as a spectacle, a waste of time, but the object of the exercise was fulfilled. They got the 3 points, and that's why he is happy. It doesn't matter how it looked, the end product was there.
Yeah, different ways to win games, and Rangers have found that out this week with 3 very different fixtures. And you know, he's stating there that he has a big squad and he's going to rotate it because of the amount of games coming up, and that's the right way of going about it. It's only the right way of going about it, of course, when you get a positive result. If that ended 1-1 today, Rangers fans would have been on saying, why
Ross
did you
County
change?
hit the bar. Big let off for Celtic. They're 1 up. They missed, well, 2 penalties, but 1, if you like. It was a retake, and it was Will Nightingale from Mark Wilson's favourite player, Jan Danda's corner.
Yes, that's it.
And a bit of a
nothing
let
less.
off.
I think if you're sitting there inside the ground, you are wondering what is going on here, because you've been handed the dream start, and then Bernardo's missed a sitter, and Luis Palma, unprofessional, 2 penalty misses in a row, and you are, if you're a fatalist, you're waiting for the Ross County equaliser.
I had a look, Mark. We were talking obviously about Celtic's penalty takers and have they had a really consistent one. I think the obvious contrast here is because the other side of the city have had the same guy taking them, you know, time and time again, and his record's not out of this world percentage wise, but he's the one that always takes them. I had a look at last season, and I know there's reasons for this, squad rotation and so on, but Celtic had 7 different penalty takers last season. They've already had 3 different penalty takers this season, as we spoke about. That's Luis Palma, now taken 5 and missed 2. So it's been a real mixed bag.
That's a lot. See, when you think in an elite club where with top players who specialise in certain areas, set pieces being one of them, and these guys will practice out in the pitch. They'll practice free kicks, they'll practice corners, they will practice penalties. I know that from being at the club. To chop and change like that, I think Celtic over the years should have had somebody that really stood out. Oh, remember Pierre Van Hooydonk, but that's gone back to 95, 96.
Because it was six different takers the season before.
Yeah, so
in the penalty area, the Celtic fans look to Kyogo. So why doesn't he just take the penalties?
I think you've got a point.
I think last season took one, missed one as well. You know, he's had a go, maybe not loads, but what a result coming in from your old club, Gordon DL. It could be a big result this at the top of the Championship. Wraith 1, Inverness 3. Alex Samuels just moved from Ross County to Inverness on loan, and he's got a 40-minute hat-trick.
Amazing,
for Duncan Ferguson's side.
What a start.
Life under Scott Brown ticking along nicely. Queen's Park 0, Ayr United 1. Jamie Murphy with the goal there.
Yeah, all departments working well for Scott Brown, even the youth side. I heard they had a good positive result against, who was it they were playing?
They got lucky.
They get five lucky goals.
Well, funnily enough, the Mark Wilson derby is going the way of Airdrie so far. They're beating Partick Thistle, so another big result in the Championship. Celtic fans getting a bit restless now because County had a good chance there to attack Celtic, but Jan Danda's pass to Simon Murray was just a bit overhit.
I did say that to you. If you're a fatalist, you're waiting for a Ross County equaliser, because Joe Hart's not covering himself in glory. Some of the passing is diabolical. They have missed sitters. They have missed a twice taken penalty. They're having one of those days,
and that's where big moments are important, because penalties, look, people miss them, Gordon. It's not the end of the world, it happens, but it's important to get those moments right. If Celtic scored that penalty 2-0 up, half an hour gone, Partick Thistle have equalised against Airdrie. Celtic probably go into cruise control at that point. But all of a sudden, as Hugh says, the game feels a bit different.
I said that if Celtic score, it was a case of how many this afternoon. I think that would have been the case. But when you miss as a player, and we've been there as underdogs to these big grounds, and you're obviously, you're expecting to take a bit of a beating, all of a sudden you're still 1-0. It gives you such a lift, and obviously it's given Ross County, because they really should be level. Let's be honest, they should be level.
Well, what chance are you?
They want to come off the bar.
Basing that on, yeah.
They want to come off the bars. I think that's got to go in the back of net.
Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, I've seen it on my phone. My mate sent me it. He's at the game. Keeps me up to date with everything. Thanks, Brendan.
But sometimes with Celtic.
By the way, Livy had a penalty saved as well. So
no way.
Something
They're hopeless at
penalties. Worse than Celtic at penalties.
The penalty record hasn't been brilliant, Livingston, I have to say.
It's the only time that if somebody goes down the box, Dave Martindale runs out and shouts, "No penalty, there's a dive." They cannot score a penalty kick.
Same last weekend, if my memory serves me correctly.
Shinnie, did
he missed last week?
He missed last week as well, yeah. It's an epidemic.
Some people think it's actually an easy art. It's not as easy as you imagine.
Yeah, people think
what's
that
the sort
when
of globally accepted statistic? Is it about 75, 80%? Is it something like that? Goal return.
You've got 70, to be. I would say you've got to be 80% from 12 yards.
No, I think the average, though.
Oh, is it?
I'm not saying your opinion. I mean,
sorry.
They
I thought you were asking.
Oh, Michael Beale is a happy man. Sunderland 1, Stoke 0.
Yes.
What do you mean, yes?
I'm rooting for him.
Are you?
Michael Beale, Postecoglou, I'm rooting for these guys. They played a part in Scottish football, so I'm there for them.
Right, okay. Very under.
The minute you leave Scottish, people start criticising you, picking up all your faults. Have a bit of positivity about yourself.
That's funny. You weren't so positive about Beale when he was up here.
Oh, listen, I always said, right, and I heard that a million times about Michael Bell. I thought he was terrible at Rangers. I don't think it was a job. I think it was too big for him. But they kept.
Did you see that one of his regular starters today, Sunderland issued a statement on his behalf, a player called Alex Pritchard, you know him?
Yeah.
He just wants to inform the club that he's no longer available for selection. He's withdrawn himself from the squad, and he just wants to leave the club. I've not seen it put in such
I like that,
like black and white terms before.
What?
In Glaswegian terms,
that available.
I'm no playing.
That's that is unprofessional, Hugh.
Yeah.
No matter if you want to
treated
well,
terribly.
first of all, he's guilty of breach of contract.
Yeah.
So you phone his lawyer and say, you better come in here.
Maybe you don't know how he's been treated.
It doesn't matter, he's in breach of contract.
Oh, I think you'll find it could matter.
Well, until such times as he
Are
explains
you
himself.
some sort of contract lawyer? Are you?
I like to think so. I like to think I'm a man of many parts.
5 minutes added at Celtic Park, which seems like a good time to Hugh to round this off.
The first half teaser
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Another save from Wickens to deny Bernardo, then Bernabe wide on the rebound. So it's Celtic not without their chances, but still 1-0. Anyway, Hugh.
The last. The last 6 Old Firm managers to have won a top flight domestic league outside of Scotland are Philippe Clement, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, Ange Postecoglou, Pedro Caixinha, Ronnie Dyla, and Paul Le Guen.
Did you get them?
Easy.
Dafties in the studio, well done.
Yeah.
There was a good response out there on Twitter. Thanks, first of all, for taking part. Always really appreciate it. And a special well done to the following 3: Laird Stuart McCrindle in 3rd place, Ian, who's Mr. Banny Boy 2, was 2nd place, and Connor O'Donnelly was the winner. Well done to you, Connor. You knew your stuff on that one. And we'll have a Who Am I after the break. Some halftime scores coming in. Morton 0, Arbroath 0. I just wonder if we're going to see any sort of drama in the Arbroath squad again, because the last I checked before the game, I think they've only got two outfield subs again.
What's happening
So
with
your,
that?
your man's on the bench again, Adams, because the starting goalkeeper is Max Boruc, Arthur's cousin or whatever he is. He's on loan from Hibs. So.
Hibs, yeah, but Jim McIntyre's having an awful time there.
You tell me
With
they
the
can't
squad.
find players to play in the Championship.
Why you offering your services?
Ah,
Going to get those rotten fake
well,
Nike
he's
Tiempos
they
back out.
can't be that bad because he's kept them. He's
He kept the boots, hasn't
yeah.
he?
Oh,
Gordon
they're
Gale's
in the
boots
back of
that
the
you-
car. Oh, by the way, I found my other ones. Yeah, they went
Couple of weeks
missing.
too late.
Yeah, a couple of weeks too late.
This mysterious ankle injury you've got anyway will rule you out.
Yeah, just now it will, yeah. I'm trying to, I'll be feet up tonight, ice and heat.
What I know is you cannot play golf tomorrow after coming in here with a crutch.
I know, I must admit,
today.
genuinely, like,
I will
because
take a buggy if I
there's
have
two
to.
things here. If you hobble in here with a crutch and then play golf tomorrow, that means that today's act is an absolute embarrassment.
Yeah.
No, it's
Basically,
not.
it does.
No, it's not.
A crutch to
There's
a game of
peop-
golf
hold
within the
on.
space of a day.
There's people being stretchered off football parks. and
Unless
play
you're
3 days later.
And I don't mean to take the show down a road and cause some sort of debate, but unless the person you're playing golf with is Jesus, I think you're at it today.
He would certainly fix that. Yeah.
I can
Put
fix
his
it.
hands are like healing hands.
A fast will fix that. All the cells will repair it.
You fasting?
Not well. I've just had a.
Not genuinely.
Yoga.
On behalf of us all, if you play golf tomorrow,
I
we're
will play
embarrassed by
golf.
you.
I would
Hook
be
or crook,
embarrassed.
whether it be in a buggy.
So your ankle's not that sore today?
My
then?
ankle is absolutely killing me.
Sorry.
You seen the size of it? It's like a what do you call the ball things that you can take? The beach ball. That's the ones. The size of
It's
it.
like the world's smallest beach ball.
Hold on, right? When you're trying to
Okay,
think of
I'm
that,
ready
you're
to
thinking
think.
of beach and you're thinking of ball. What's that thing called
So I
again?
just stuck the two of them together.
Beach ball.
A wee beach
The
ball.
British Medical Association will be
Hugh is
saying.
concerned about me. Hugh, tell the truth.
I'm saying the British Medical Association will be fascinated by this programme. What do you call that thing? That's what my ankle was
I'll
like.
be my markers tomorrow. You know that. You've been there. You've been that player.
In case you're wondering, this is radio. He's waving a sleeve of paracetamol at me, and yes, there was one dark day where he marked his ball with a sleeve of paracetamol or ibuprofen. I can't remember which. It doesn't really ruin the joke. The image, works the same. Luckily, we don't need to discuss him much longer because half-time at Tynecastle. Fraser.
Yeah, it's Hearts 0, Aberdeen 0. Not really a classic similar to midweek. Hearts haven't been great in the first 45 minutes, different days. They're still in level terms and not too down like they were to Dundee, but they get VAR to thank as a brilliant Bojan Miovski was disallowed for a foul in the build-up, and that was the only piece of brilliance really and piece of good football in the first 45. Aberdeen started really well. They were composed, comfortable in possession, but not creating any chances of note. Not much of Hearts in the first 15 minutes. Then Miovski had a half chance on 16 minutes. He got his head to a Graham Shinnie cross, but the ball looped over the bar. 22 minutes, McGrath got a header on target. A Nicky Devlin cross He just got his head to it at the front post, but saved well and low to his left by Xander Clark. At the other end, 25 minutes had passed with Kelly Roos and the Dons goal having nothing to save, and then just in that 25th minute, Bojan Miovski had the ball in the net. It was a lovely move down the right hand side. Ball ended up with Miovski on the angle, and he curled a brilliant finish with his left foot high into the top right hand corner. But after a long VAR check, Kevin Clancy went to the screen and disallowed the goal for a foul in the build-up. We can only think it was Conor Barron and Beningame who clashed in the build-up to the goal, but we're not really sure. Aberdeen were not put off though. 29 minutes, Dante Polvara drove forward, there's space in the midfield, and as a Hearts back four backed off, rather than pass it, he chose to shoot, and he struck his low 25-yard shot just inches wide. Hearts fans were coming frustrated as Aberdeen looked dangerous. McGrath and Clarkson good in the ball. Hearts losing possession too easily. Finally got a shot on goal in the 38th minute. A lovely flick by Lon Shanklin into the path of George Grant. His 20-yard shot went a yard wide. Then towards the break, Hearts began to exert a wee bit of pressure on the Aberdeen goal. 43 minutes, Stephen Kingsley curled a 25-yard free kick with his left foot. It dipped onto the roof of the net. I think Roos would have saved it anyway. Hearts fans, as I say, a wee bit restless. Aberdeen looking more likely to score and being the better team. So a bit to do for the Jambos in the second half, but the game in general could do with a goal to liven things up here at Tynecastle. Half time, Hearts 0, Aberdeen 0.
What about Celtic Park? Half time there, Andrew McLean.
Yeah, Celtic 1, Ross County 0, the half-time score. It was a blistering start for the home side. You thought that they might go on and score quite a few in the opening 45, but it hasn't quite gone that way, and two missed penalties in the one incident as well. And a bit of Ross County pressure means that the scoreline is still only 1-0. As I say, incredible start for the home side. Alexandro Bernabe's cross found Leila Bada. His shot was blocked, but it fell to Alistair Johnson at the edge of the box. He took a shot. A massive deflection. I think it hit Will Nightingale last. It wrong-footed George Wickens in the Ross County goal and snuck into the net for 1-0, but Ross County didn't look too disheartened. They got up the park, they forced a few corners, just really struggling to get any efforts on goal to go along with it. Celtic then put on some pressure of their own. George Wickens had to make a smart save to deny Paulo Bernardo. Then 23 minutes in, Celtic got a penalty. Callum McGregor going down under the challenge of Simon Murray. The Ross County striker wasn't happy about it, but the penalty stood. Lewis Palmer, he stepped up to take it low towards the left corner, but Wickens got down and palmed it away. But then a VAR check showed that as many as 3 Ross County players were guilty of encroachment. A retake was ordered. Lewis Palmer stepped up again, went the same way again, but so did George Wickens. A second save in a matter of moments. The disbelief was clear from Lewis Palmer and the crowd, and that kept the deficit at 1. Celtic a bit slack after that, not really keeping the ball well. Maybe Ross County could sense a bit of an opening. They came so close as well. Jan Dander's corner, a really good delivery towards the back post. Will Nightingale with the header, but that crashed off of Joe Hart's bar just before the break. Wickens had to be alert a couple of times. Paulo Bernardo and Lewis Palmer with separate efforts, but Celtic ahead. Brendan Rodgers will definitely be looking for more though. Half-time score at Celtic Park, Celtic 1, Ross County 0.
It's also half-time at Rugby Park. David Friel.
Half-time, Kilmarnock 1, Hibs 0. I think the boos coming from the Hibs fans, they're not happy. That'll tell you that Kilmarnock have good value for the lead. Corey Ndaba was awarded his first goal for the club by the stadium announcer. I think it probably will go down as a Dylan Vente own goal, but Kelly won't care. They would have been further ahead as well if Matty Kennedy had brought his shooting boots with him. Kelly's first effort came after 40 seconds. David Watson firing over the bar and have been well on top overall. The opener arrived in 25 minutes. Danny Armstrong, he's been excellent again. Worked a brilliant cross to the back post, and Ndaba tussled with Vente. He was just too strong. Looks like Vente just headed into his own net past David Marshall. Kelly tried to add to that. Matty Kennedy's been really lively, he's been good, but his finishing has been off. He could have had a hat-trick on another day. One effort saved by David Marshall, but he was in really wasteful with another 2 gilt-edged chances. Stuart Finlay also headed over the bar, probably should have done better. Kelly should have scored a second. Emiliano Marcondes, he's been the bright spark for Hibs, looks a real player but need to offer much more as a team. He had their best chance seconds before the break, but Kieran O'Hara, the Kelly goalie, made a really good save. Half-time, Kilmarnock 1, Hibs 0.
Interesting first halves all around the country. We'll give you the story of St Johnstone against Motherwell and the full roundup of the half-time scores next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
The only half-time picture you need from the top flight, the only outstanding one, is Dave Galloway, who has watched St Johnstone against Motherwell.
Half-time, St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 1. A perfect start by Saints. Just 3 minutes on the clock, and a free kick into the box was bundled in from close range by Ryan McGowan. and after a really long VAR delay, the referee didn't go to the screen. He was just listening to instructions from the VAR booth. The goal stood. Graham Carey blasted a long-range free kick. That was held by Liam Kelly at the second attempt as the home side chased a second goal. But Motherwell were creating plenty of danger as well. Blair Spittle whipped the ball across goal, but there were no takers. And Dimitar Mitov superbly blocked Theo Bair's close-range efforts. However, the equaliser came after 29 minutes. Another brilliant Spittle cross, and Bair this time made no mistake. He headed home. It's been an end-to-end encounter, entertaining stuff. And for Saints, speed merchant Benji Kimpioka, what a turn of pace he's got. He raced onto a long ball over the top, lifted it over Liam Kelly, but couldn't control the ball and couldn't finish it off, and the chance was gone. But good stuff here at McDermott Park. At the interval, it's all square. St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 1.
Let's take a look at the scores then. The full-time result from earlier was, of course, St Mirren 0, Rangers 1. At the break, Celtic 1, Ross County 0, Hearts 0, Aberdeen 0, Kilmarnock 1, Hibs 0, Livingston 0, Dundee 1, and St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 1 in the Championship. Airdrie 1, Partick Thistle 1, Dundee United 0, Dunfermline 0, Morton 0, Arbroath 0, Queen's Park 0, Ayr United 1, and Wraith Rovers 1, Inverness 3. In League 1, it's Alloa 0, Falkirk 1, Annan Athletic 1, Edinburgh City 0, Cove Rangers 0, Queen of the South 1, Hamilton Accies 1, Montrose 0, and Stirling Albion 1, Kelty Hearts 0. In League 2 it finished Elgin 0, Dumbarton 1. At the break it is Forfar 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Peterhead 1, Stenhousemuir 1, Stranraer 0, East Fife 1, and the Spartans 1, Clyde 1. The second half's are next.
The experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Interesting afternoon so far in the Scottish Premiership, and it is not done yet. Early goals going in actually in the other divisions, because they don't have VAR, so they play to what you would consider a normal time frame. Annan 2 up on Edinburgh, Falkirk 2 up on Alloa. Still not restarted yet in some of the Premiership games though. Andrew McLean, what's happening at Celtic Park?
Yeah, not restarted yet. Ross County were out first, no changes for them. Celtic just making their way out the tunnel at the moment as well, and it doesn't look as if there will be any changes from Brendan Rodgers either. It has been a bit flat from Celtic though. I did wonder whether he might try and freshen it up. You thought when Alistair Johnson scored that goal within a minute, it was a real chance to kick on and punish Ross County, especially with the form that the visitors are in, but it just hasn't happened at all. You've got to give credit to Ross County though. I actually think they've looked pretty good at times. 6 new signings in the team. Of course, George Wickens in goal, one of them. A huge part he's played with those back-to-back penalty saves. The one with Lewis Palmer taking it, that one saved, had to be retaken, saved it going the exact same way again. A couple of other saves on top of that, and I like the look of Brandon Keller in midfield as well, on loan from Birmingham City. But Celtic have been slack at times, passes going astray, some poor touches in the middle of the park, so just not at the top of their form at all. And you do wonder whether it's maybe just a matter of time until Nicholas Kuhn is introduced for his Celtic debut. Lewis Palmer hasn't really been at it so far today, penalties aside as well, so that could be the spot for Nicholas Kuhn to come in. But we are just about underway here again for the second half.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Is quitting smoking your goal? Visit them to get started.
Well, I'd imagine the vision, Gordon Dalziel, was that Celtic are 3 up and cruising, and Nicholas Kuhn comes on and can show off a bit and settle in. And by the way, that might still be the case, but as things stand, it's looking more likely that he's sent on to try and win this game for Celtic, because they've made heavy weather of it so far. 1 goal to the good, but County should be level. They hit the bar. 2 missed penalties from Lewis Palmer after a retake, so it's been an interesting afternoon.
Yeah, defining moments. I think if Palmer puts the penalty kick away, they're an easy street. They can do what they want. There was no way back for Ross County. And then Ross County, as you quite rightly say, Gordon, they should have scored, no doubt about that. It'll be interesting to see how they approach the second half, because Brendan Rodgers cannot be happy with the performance so far. The Celtic fans certainly won't be happy. Yes, we touched on it earlier, so we can't be double standards saying that about Rangers it's all about 3 points. Of course it is, But when you're at home against a struggling Ross County team who have just introduced 6 new players into their side, I think you're expecting a bit more from Celtic.
Well, you certainly are. The circumstances are now very difficult with regard to Nicholas Kuhn. At 1-0, I don't think you can bring him on. It'd be unfair, because those who were there for a long time at Celtic have let the team down so far. It's been a daft day.
It's not a complete let down though, is it, when you're still winning?
Well, it's got the potential to be
for sure.
a daft day. The progress of the first half was really, really shabby. And if you bring on Nicholas Kuhn now and he doesn't turn into Jimmy Johnston in an instant, the crowds get even angrier.
Is that any different though? Because you wanted him to start the game, and that would be obviously at a point when the game was level, but now Celtic are in front, granted not as much as people want. How's this different from your desire for him to start?
Because circumstances have changed the whole complexion of the day. Celtic,
surely it's easier to come on though when you're winning than
0-0 at the start.
Well, the crowd are now tetchy. The crowd started in an optimistic mood. They were a goal up after 1 minute and everything was right with the world, and then Celtic proceeded to make things difficult for themselves. Nicholas Kuhn at the moment, I think it would be unfair to bring him on.
Well, we'll find out. Nothing's happening yet in the early stages of the games in the Scottish Premiership, so we might as well, Hugh, give as much time for this.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Dazzler,
yes,
be ready. Be ready, because
keep it over there. I know.
I have played alongside Ben Chilwell and Angus Gunn. I have been managed by Neil Lennon and Manuel Pellegrini. I have represented 2 clubs in European competition and won my only piece of silverware at both of them. Who am I? So I've played alongside Ben Chilwell and Angus Gunn, been managed by Neil Lennon and Manuel Pellegrini, represented 2 clubs in European competition and won my only pieces of silverware at both of them. Who am I?
Forget a match day prediction. Here's my prediction. You get that. I've given you stick on the teaser, right? But I think you get that all day long. That's all I'm saying for now.
I'm starting to narrow it down.
I think you will. I don't think that's as difficult as some of the previous ones. So at Clyde SSB, have a race amongst yourselves, have a race against Gordon DL, do what you like, piece it all together and send me a tweet at Clyde SSB. You need to get the answer in before everyone else. So that is the aim of the game. Send them over, please.
You're doing a wee double bluffing me.
No, I'm not, genuinely. No,
putting a wee bit extra pressure.
Nope, I've given you a hard enough time over your fake ankle injury today, so I'm sticking up for you on the teaser.
Well,
I think you'll get that.
I would just like to clarify to everyone that's listening, Mark's my witness, it's not a fake ankle.
Fine, can't play golf tomorrow then.
He did show me
Easy as that.
It does look horrible.
A goal for Wraith Rovers. That's a cracking game there in Kirkcaldy. Wraith 2, Inverness 3. Lewis Vaughan on 52 minutes. Stirling Albion have doubled their advantage at home to Kelty Hearts. Had a few games off recently, Stirling Albion, so they'll be delighted to get that one up and running. Whilst we await anything shot at straight at Liam Kelly, whilst we await anything of note, I've actually had a delivery into the studio, and this is...
Oh, is it good or bad?
I don't know, I've not opened it yet. I thought I would do it live on air, which is obviously carries its own risk. My guess is telling me that this looks like a mug. It's like a little square box, so I'm thinking there's a mug or something in here.
That's nice, whoever it is.
Actually, I'm just looking at the name on the front. That I think I know where this is going. It's actually addressed to you, Hugh. You're not really allowed to open other people's mail. Can I just do it? Give me your permission.
Absolutely, yes.
Just to see. Oh wow! Look at this. This is in the back of a conversation we had last week. Oh my goodness! Remember we were speaking about the Gladiators, returning to primetime TV, and we said how funny would it be to see Hugh on it, and what would his name be?
Yeah.
We've been sent in a mug, and it's you, Hugh Keevins, with the spandex on.
Oh.
And it is your face
superimposed,
and it's the Shugginator.
I love that, mate.
That's
onto
great.
the mug, and it says, I need your cardigan, your brogues, and your bus pass. That's spectacular.
That is great.
Oh, you need.
The only thing is, I don't really know who sent it. Return address Perso Tings,
Mrs.
is that the
Keevans?
company
That's very good.
who
that,
sent
yeah.
it in.
Oh, it's the gentleman who made
said
my
the
10 out of 10 mug.
So there you are. You've got another one. That's
Thank you kindly.
brilliant.
Gladiators very much in trend just
You
now.
you watching
The
it
old
tonight?
Gladiators. Oh,
I
I'll
love
be
it.
there.
It's been good, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
I record it because it's on so early. It's on 5 to 6.
You'll need
we
to
are.
take a wee photo of the mug.
Yeah, I'll get it out there. Don't you worry.
I want to go at the Travelator. I saw some contestants last week having a bit of difficulty down several times. They'd have a
I
chuckle.
think your knees have got that in them.
I would have one go at it, and I don't.
Then just
I've
lie
got
down
to
at the bottom.
admire when they get chucked off it. That they stand again and they get their breath and they go again. They get chucked off and they just keep going till they get up. I think I'd have one go and think, listen, I'm not making it.
I have it on good authority. You've been hammering the treadmill recently. So
Oh, yeah,
I like
you
the
never know.
treadmill. I like the
So you
treadmill
just need
these
to put
days.
it to 80% incline or whatever
Incline.
the Travelator must be.
Well, we used to do a lot of that work, by the way. No joke, at Celtic at Lennoxtown, it used to do a lot of incline work in the treadmill. It was up at about level 9, and I think you used to do maybe around
You
level 17.
still not into the
intervals.
Gladiators, no? I think you
No,
need to watch it
You
tonight.
would love it. You would love it.
I'm
You would.
always
It's right up your
thinking
street.
catch up, but
You'd be on the recliner giving it pointing down, doing the actions. I can see
pointing
it.
it. I'm right, okay, and
I
doing
can
the
see
actions,
it.
yeah.
Honestly, I
I look
can't.
forward to it. But it's on a bit early. By the
Yeah,
time
you need
go
to get
home.
and catch up or
Catch
record.
up, yeah.
Does your TV do that? I take it.
I'm not sure he's got. Have you got Sky?
It's not on Sky, it's on BBC One.
But to record it.
I'll just go iPlayer, whatever it's called.
They're the old.
Penalty. Hearts. Go on then.
Oh,
Shankland.
Quickly, get your bets in, please. Gamble responsibly.
Shankland.
Shankland.
Yeah, I'll go Shankland, yeah. I would be surprised if he doesn't.
He's missed 3 in a row. What is wrong with you people?
He's our top goal scorer.
He's missed 3 in a row.
Don't care.
You guys want Palma taken off them. You want everybody else. This guy's missed 3 penalties.
I can't
in a
think
row.
anybody else at Hearts that is decent.
Doesn't matter. He's missed 3 in a row. George Grant has the ball in his
Oh,
hands.
really?
Shows what you 3 know. Honestly, George Grant is going to take it. You can't go for a fourth. You can't.
Yeah, you can.
You mean he might get it back if George Grant misses, but he couldn't. And the answer is there. The proof is in the pudding. George Grant is going to take it for Hearts. The Aberdeen players are furious, but it's one of those. Look, it's handball. Where have you all been? It's just a pain in the neck. Sometimes it's VAR. That the handball rule feels unfair, but it is what it is. We should be used to it by now. And George Grant is going to take some delay, though. Has to be said. Kevin Clancy eventually went to the monitor to have a look, and George Grant steps up. What are you thinking?
Goal.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And he does score. Hearts take the lead. It was a good penalty, top left hand corner. No such problems for George Grant. Lawrence Hu, and Hearts are in front.
Yeah, well, that's a big goal. Stephen Naismith under a wee bit of pressure again in the first half when Aberdeen thought they'd taken the lead and said how tough that Tynecastle crowd could be, but chalked off and they get their noses in front. That'll be a big 3 points if it remains the same, because Aberdeen are far down the table just now. They've got games in hand, but you would expect them to make a late charge somewhere along the lines, and Hearts have to put as much distance between their opponents today as much as possible to consolidate that third place.
The end of an era. No Lawrence Shankland on Hearts penalties, Hugh.
Well, is it the end of an era altogether? Will there be no Lawrence Shankland at Hearts next weekend? But as I say, we've got a very interesting week coming up because of the close of the transfer window. The Celtic supporters, the struggle they're having against Ross County, they will be on starting tonight, I suspect, at 5 o'clock to say, hold on here. At the moment, things are not good enough. What happened to the quality that was going to be brought in?
Yeah, Celtic not doing much in the second half, but still plenty of time to stretch that lead further. They are in front, worth bearing that in mind. I should have told you this earlier. Did we forget that this was inevitable, wasn't it? An Andy Halliday booking. First half, I think, yeah.
For his hair.
It was bound to
Commitment. That's commitment,
be
desire,
experience,
passion.
just trying to lay down a marker.
Yeah, trying to get everybody round about him up for it.
And boot them for the weave.
Anyway, the Shugginator.
Player.
You'll need to get your tea into the Shugginator mug this evening. I like that. That's
Yeah,
good.
very
Great
good,
mug.
very nice.
And
That's very nice.
I think he's, having watched Gladiators, I'm saying that's Giant's body that he's been put on. What do you think?
Is he? Yeah, with a bicep.
I
I think like your bicep, that.
I'm looking
You've been
good.
doing
Doing
a lot of bicep work these days.
Yeah, looking good.
I think it's Giant's body.
He's
with
a
Hugh
big lad,
Keegan's face.
giant.
Well,
I'm
that's the name that
I'm
suggests.
looking good, says the man on a crutch.
I know.
Wonder how they come up with the names, The Gladiators. I know we
I don't
chatted
think it
briefly
takes
about it.
loads of imagination. No offence.
Forget the Gladiators. The Traitors was the best.
Don't.
ever.
Okay.
No,
Just in case.
no, because I only
I'm
started watching
spoiling
it
it.
last night.
No, don't. No
Don't.
way. I can't allow
Are
you
you
to do
telling
that.
me people out there?
100%.
Oh, come on.
There isn't people out there. There's people in here.
Well, what I would
I
say
only
though,
watched one
hold on,
episode.
hold on. I'm right in the middle of this. For me, if you've not finished this by tomorrow night, that is on you, and you need to deal with the consequences. But I
Okay.
would give people a few hours grace just to
You
allow them
think
to
so?
catch up. But you were
I was
you
excited.
were very into it. So last night I had I was doing stuff in the house, and I thought I'll catch up with it just a bit later, just slightly delayed. So put the phone to one side, don't want anyone to spoil this. And at the time when it was due to finish, so I'm about half an hour behind, I can see my phone, my watch is vibrating. Gordon Dale, not taking no for an answer. So I just texted him and said,
rude,
go away. I've not finished it yet, because I knew that's what he was wanting. And the reply comes, well, seeing he lives on his own, said, hurry up, I need to talk to someone about it. It is that type of programme that gripped everyone. We had and as soon as it finished, I felt obliged. I felt sorry for him, quite frankly. So the look on my wife's face when she realised I was phoning him at 11 o'clock at night.
Oh wow,
And
he's
I let
exactly
him-
the guy you want.
Mate,
A bit of pillow talk with him
honestly,
at 11 o'clock at night.
I
let him-
couldn't sleep last night.
I let him rant and rant till his heart was content. Andrew McLean says a few of his mates were round at his mates last night as if it was the Champions League
A
final.
Traitors party.
So
Fantastic.
So good.
You know what? I didn't understand the concept yet until I watched the first episode, and even still on the way in here, I had to phone my son who has watched it and say, "How did they eliminate people? How?" Because I've not
far behind. Oh, come on.
Well, you would know in the first episode of this series, nobody gets a
Right.
chop, do they? So I'm
you've
saying,
still not seen it in action. You're
I'm
in
saying,
for a
how,
treat.
how did they? How did
Can I
they
just
murder
say
people?
though, you're going to have to hurry up. You're on social media. This will get spoiled
I'll
for you.
scroll by. I'll scroll by those things.
I'm getting messages in right now from people who've not seen it, who are worried and just don't speak. Okay, do
Right.
not ruin it.
Okay, I was
Because
going to ruin it.
You missed one of these whilst we were listening to your insights.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Kilmarnock 2, Hibs 0, and it's Matty Kennedy with a back post finish. It's Armstrong again. You love that, don't you? One wide player to the other.
Yeah.
Matty Kennedy with the finish, and Kelly looking comfortable. 2-0 to the good.
That's my result.
Good players, though.
Away.
Having those in the wide areas, you're always going to create chances. And you're right, Gordon. If one can create the chance and the other can finish it off, then absolutely fantastic.
It's great recruitment as well, isn't it? You know, players that knew the league and just look. There's no such thing as a guaranteed signing, but Derek McInnes makes them look like they were. You know, when they come in.
Good
I thought
experience.
David Friel said Hibs' new player was running the game.
He's just run out of steam.
Running.
Back to a cold pasta dish.
Exactly, he's freezing. It was only for the first 10 minutes.
Nick Montgomery's a man who'll be under pressure shortly.
Yeah.
Was that his first game in charge as well? Down there, it ended 2-2. Remember at Rugby Park? We
Mhm.
went 2 up,
2 up.
2 up,
yeah.
2-2. Another 2 behind.
Sean Welsh has been sent off for Queen's Park. Now I wonder in the aftermath, because they've just equalised. Queen's Park 1, Scott Brown's Ayr United, as they now become known, 1. But Sean Welsh has been sent off for the hosts. Morton 1, Arbroath 0. Remember, Arbroath have only got 2 outfield subs, and they went down to 10 men, I think around the 28th minute. So having a really torrid time.
No, he is, Jim McIntyre, as someone who needs to recruit quickly. One, to make his team better, but 2, to have some numbers in his squad. Really struggling.
He's got until Thursday then.
Yeah, but I guess teams like Arbroath will shop in the free transfer market. Guys who are just without a club, unattached.
Unattached.
Yeah.
Not much happening for Celtic, Hugh.
No, it has the look of dafty about it. We're an hour in now. If Celtic don't get a second goal soon, I am honestly beginning to think in terms of a Ross County equaliser, and that the howler for Monday night is therefore taken care of.
I mean, it's not always the way it works, because County need to start showing a bit more as well. Mark, it was, you wonder sometimes if they miss that one that hits the bar in the first half is huge. I think if it had gone in, we would 100% have had complaints about Joe Hart. But the difference is in the second half, while Celtic haven't been good or haven't added to their tally, Ross County haven't even been near Celtic's box in the second half.
But we saw the first visit to Celtic Park that was pretty much the case for the second half, and then all of a sudden they edged up, they got a couple of set pieces, and that's where the problems came. There's no doubt we've seen it back now, that chance that Ross County should have scored. Joe Hart, no man's land. If anybody wants to go back to the goal at the start of the season where he was caught out again, worse than that, I would suggest.
Not a criticism of you, because I'm going to sound like I'm picking you up in your language. I don't know if that can be considered no man's land, because he's right on his goal line, and it's still somehow
just one of those cliches that
it's still somehow
to mind.
It was keepers away, wasn't
still somehow goes over his head. It's not great.
No, not great at all. I mean, the delivery is good, but a goalkeeper needs to be dealing with that. And by the way, who was it that hit the bar? Anyway, should score.
Jai Simi heads over for St Johnstone. Remember, that was an early start, that one. St Johnstone went in front early doors, and Theo Bair equalised for Motherwell. So all poised in that one. Livy are trailing at home to Dundee. They've just made a few changes, a triple change actually for Davy Martindale's side. Kelly looking good, 2-0 up against Hibs. That's the most secure result of the day so far. Hearts 1, Aberdeen 0. Let's see if we get any drama later on this evening. Oh, there we go. That is joint most secure, because Livy 0, Dundee 2. Luke McCowan with the goal.
Yeah, that's that then. Goodbye. Start the bus. Let's go back to Dundee. This is
2-0 up the other night there, and it didn't. The bus broke down.
Yeah, well, but they were only 2 up by half time. They're in cruise control here.
I can't see Livy come back.
This is the season Livy go down. It's a shame. He's been a miracle worker, but this is the season that Livy stop defying the odds, stop defying gravity, and drop to the division below.
Nicholas Kuhn, come on down. For the first time in Scottish football, you get a look at Celtic's new signing. He's going to replace Luis Palma, who has had a bad afternoon, missed a penalty, got given the chance to retake it, missed it again, and on comes Nicholas Kuhn. It's a double change actually. Nawrocki comes on for Cameron Carter-Vickers, who maybe only had an hour or so in him, and he's returned from injury. But no doubt, Mark, the change out of the two which will attract the most attention is a debut for Nicholas Kuhn.
Of course, so much interest around Kuhn. Look, he's been the only transfer so far, a decent transfer fee paid for him. But I think because he is a winger, and people are looking, did we need another winger at Celtic Park? And Brendan Rodgers kind of firmly saying, well, he adds quality, so fans are intrigued to see what this guy can bring.
Well, significant change for Motherwell. Andy Halliday, you had the feeling, didn't you? Not started in 8 months.
Be giving it the clap,
give it the hour,
kiss the badge.
And he's replaced by Lennon Miller. Not a bad substitute to bring on.
Yeah, good player.
I think
Old legs for young legs.
I think Andy's in there as a sort of unofficial mentor. I think he's going to try and bring Lennon Miller out his wig, out his shell, take him under his wig. I like that. That was good from you.
Thank you.
That was quite good.
You ever need new teeth? Yeah.
Has Andy got new teeth as well?
No, I've no idea. You've made that up.
Did you know I got a set of ashes?
Good save. He's got to get a refund in them.
Good save by Kellerus. It's a full stretch save to deny Shankland. But Hugh at Celtic Park, all eyes on Nicholas Kuhn.
Exactly. This programme brought on a man who made all the headlines by saying he thought he was overpriced, he thought he was injury prone, and he thought his attempts at goal were suspect. So he comes on under trying circumstances for me, because Celtic have had a very poor day, and a very poor day after a very bright start. So the crowd will respond to him immediately. They'll give him all the support they can, but this is a notoriously difficult part of the world. He has to literally hit the ground running. He has to do something that tells the supporters why he's the only incomer in this transfer window. Lot of pressure on his shoulders, because Celtic, I said it of Rangers at 1-0 in Paisley earlier in the day, 1-0 is a precarious lead. Celtic don't have this game won yet.
Not yet. It has been a relatively comfortable second half, but I think Brendan Rodgers is looking for more than comfortable. You would imagine he's certainly looking for a second goal. A couple of changes for St Johnstone, Clark and Smith on for Kimpioka and Kucheravi. I think I read somewhere that St Johnstone now have 3 Smiths in their first team squad. That's great, that's not confusing at all.
Like the Matrix.
So double change there. Oh, the Palmerston Pep, Queen of the South, 2-0 up at Cove Rangers. I'll get him penciled in for Wednesday night, because if it goes wrong from here, we won't see him for a month, surely.
It'll be a great result up there.
You won't carried in on a sedan chair on Wednesday if this goes any higher.
Hugh, remind us of your teaser, please.
Yes, I have played alongside Ben Chilwell and Angus Gunn. I've been managed by Neil Lennon and Manuel Pellegrini. I have represented 2 clubs in European competition and won my only silverware at both of those clubs. Who am I?
Show us your paper, Gordon Dalziel. You got anything yet? It's not like you.
I'll get his first name, but I can't remember his second name.
Oh, show me his first name, because I'll be able to tell. It's quite a unique first name. Show me it, please. Well, not that unique, I should say. Yep, that's him. You've got him. Well done.
I can't remember his second name, but
Rogers here for 10 in a row says, is it Timo Pukki?
No.
Jason Coogans wants to throw Patrick Roberts.
No, not Paddy Roberts.
Kenny Duffy thinks it's Dedrick Boyata.
No.
Okay, keep your guesses coming then. Stirling Albion 3 up on Kelty Hearts. Josh Cooper with the goal. Double change. Aberdeen, McGrath and Barron off. Morrison, Sockler on. Oda off. Vargas on for Hearts. And Jordan White is coming on for Simon Murray. He's scored some goals against Celtic in the past.
Jordan White, yes, he's a man who cost Neil Lennon his job. One Sunday evening in Dingwall, got the goal, the only goal of the game, and the following day Neil was out of a job.
Alright, sorry.
You two just conferring.
Yeah,
I
I've
gave
got
him
his
the second
second
name.
No, I said it.
And I wrote it down.
I couldn't read his writing.
And he burst out laughing, and then he continued to write the name beside it. Same name.
Memphis McGabby just couldn't quite get the touch for Motherwell. It was Gents rising drive, goes over. McGabby couldn't get the touch, and it stays at St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 1 in that one at McDermott Park.
Motherwell's going to snatch up. Yep.
We'll see.
I think there'll be a goal. I think there'll be a winner.
We shall see. Gordon Dalziel's got the teaser. Have you? Keep your guesses coming in, please. Harry Payton's had a turning shot wide for Motherwell. He had the whole goal to aim at, says Dave Galloway, so he's miscued on this occasion. Not much to report from Celtic Park in the last few moments. I told you about that double change. Mike Nawrocki and Cameron Carter on for Cameron Carter Vickers. Like we said, Mark, that's totally understandable. Carter Vickers maybe had an hour in him coming back from injury, because maybe Nawrocki is he the slightly unfortunate one. He's come in the last couple of games, he's done fine, done quite well, but was always likely to.
Well, it just shows you how well Scales has done, because he is in the team regardless.
Hold on.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Game on at Rugby Park, because Joe Newell has pulled one back on 66 minutes. He missed a penalty in the Cup last weekend, didn't he? But he's found the target today. Kilmarnock 2, Hibs 1.
Oh, that certainly adds spice to the remainder of that match, the last quarter of the game. Hibs really need to do something. I can imagine the Hibs support at Rugby Park not being impressed at all by this, and they'll now give their side a second chance in the hope of an equaliser.
Had a fair few 2-2s Hibs since Montgomery's come in, have they not? Not 2-2 against Motherwell not so long ago, where they threw 5 up front or something like that, and they got the rewards. Nick Montgomery might just do the same in the closing half hour here.
Nice quick feet there from Nicholas Kuhn. Little flash to get past James Brown, but the cross goes straight at the goalkeeper. Motherwell on top, McDermott Park, but nothing doing in front of goal. It's heating up nicely. We could be in for an exciting finish here in a few of the games, it has to be said.
Bruni is 2-1 up at Queen's Park.
Yes, Queen's Park 1, down to 10 men, of course. And Ayr United almost 2-2 for Hibs. Marcondes, he's put the pasta dish back on. Quick reheat, shot blocked, almost 2-2.
Well, that game's not over. They know how to score goals, Hibs, but has touched on it perfectly.
But the good thing for Kilmarnock, Derek knows how to see out games. You know, if he's under a little bit of pressure, he knows how to tweak the system.
Don't worry, the GBX is still going ahead. Morton 2, Arbroath 0. George Oakley, Arbroath been down to 10 men for quite a while, So you would be pretty certain of 3 Morton points in that one.
Some run Morton are on. Is that
Excellent.
10 games maybe? 10 games without defeat through the
How's
next
Dundee
round of the
United
cup?
going just now? Still 0-0?
I heard much,
Yep.
yeah.
And
With
Wraith are getting
Dunfermline,
beat.
yeah. So if the pasta man scores for Hibs, does he give the crowd a microwave?
Oh, I like it. I
love
like it, Hugh. I must say. I think it's 11
Yes.
games all competitions for Morton, but
Brilliant.
oh no, sorry, this would be 12 in all competitions, but that includes like the Challenge Cup and the Scottish Cup and so on. So there we go. Get those guesses in for the full-time teaser as well. We actually haven't heard yet from Stephen Robinson. Let's hear a bit of what he had to say following the game against Rangers, 1-0 defeat.
I think ultimately frustration. I thought we deserved a point at least out of the game. We pressed a very good team really well. We won the ball back on numerous occasions, and we showed composure in, as you say, very difficult conditions. The wind and the pitch was very, very difficult to play on, but I thought we showed a lot of composure, and we pushed a very good team all the way. And the difference between the sides was a fantastic finish. I have to give credit to it on the surface with the wind. It's an incredible goal, and that's the difference between teams.
Yeah, Hugh, this sounds like one of those arguments we'd go round all night on as to whether they did or didn't deserve a draw. There clearly wasn't a lot in the game. I think everyone would acknowledge that.
Poor game, settled by a decent goal from Cyril Desser's point of view. I don't think that Stephen Robinson can say that he was robbed in any way. They didn't do enough, and when they had chances, they simply weren't clinical enough in their finishing. Kwon had a real big chance, but Rangers were deserved winners on a poor afternoon for both teams. So, we said at the time that put pressure on Celtic, but you don't really think that much pressure. But Celtic have not responded. Their performance has been very
They
poor.
are winning though, aren't they? So
yeah, but
like on the league table, it would count as a response,
without doubt. But they're not out the woods yet. They've still to get across the line, and this game is not over by a long way.
What do you make of Stephen Robinson? Would we have had many complaints if that had finished a draw?
I don't think so. Not many complaints, but look, I think what he's meaning is there wasn't a lot in the game. Of course, like we've just mentioned there, the one moment of quality, that's what decides the game. And like if you're looking at St Mirren's chances, the one that hits the post maybe in the second half, Kwon should have probably done better, but it's not as if they were battering the Rangers defence and he goes away and thinks, wow, how did that end 1-0? I never thought the game took on that shape.
Alloa 0, Falkirk 4. Dylan Tate with the goal on 80 minutes. Mikey Johnson called over by Brendan Rodgers. You have to assume he'll be on for Liel Abada because the other wing has already been changed.
Well, Liel Abada, there'll be a question mark against him until midnight on Thursday. Will he still be a Celtic player by then? But isn't it amazing? Abada off, Palmer off, Kyogo simply not involved in the game at all. Celtic miss a penalty and then miss the retake. Sitters missed. What a day for them.
Yeah, well, Rodgers did say in the paper this morning, didn't he? Abada was going nowhere, so we'll see what happens in the next few days. Got one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Who needs penalties? Lawrence Shankland makes it Hearts 2, Aberdeen 0. Will he still be at his current club come the end of the transfer window? For now, he's doing what he does. 16 yards. It is a brilliant finish outside of the right foot into the top corner, and Lawrence Shankland has Hearts 2-0 up.
Which puts massive pressure on Barry Robson, who came out this week and said, look, still very confident of finishing third. They go to third place today. They look like they're going to get beat. I think the Aberdeen fans will certainly not be happy. He's not too far away from losing his job, unfortunately.
Mikey Johnson is going to come on for Liel Abada. There could be a red card for Kilmarnock because Tavares is down and the referee's going over to the monitor, so you know how that tends to finish. Luke McCowan's been sent off. Oh no,
What?
It's the best teeth in Scottish football. It's Corrie and Daba.
Oh,
He's
he'll not be
sent off.
smiling.
He will not. What a mixed day. He's been sent off, has Corrie and Daba. Killie down to 10 men and 2-1 in front. That makes that quite a tasty ending to that one.
Yeah,
it certainly does. So, look, every ground there's a chance of something happening. You know, at Celtic Park it's not done yet.
No, Hearts.
At Rugby Park, well, Hearts, yeah, you're right. They're two up and cruising, and I think you're absolutely right, Gordon, that Barry Robson 19 points behind Hearts. No point in talking about the 3 games in hand, because Aberdeen's season wouldn't allow you to suggest that all 3 games will be won by them. So 19 points behind Hearts, difficult. And St Johnstone and Motherwell on a knife edge.
You're telling me Kilmarnock making that sort of predictable move, Robbie Dees on for Danny Armstrong, just trying to shore things up, but down to 10 men. What have Hibs got left in them? Luke McCowan scored for Dundee and has now been sent off as well, so maybe boosts Livy's chances slightly, but you would have to say, again, more on the unlikely side of things. Yes,
I think the drama will come in Perth. There you go, guaranteed.
Well,
Motherwell to nick that one, like I said. I agree with you.
I think it might come at Celtic.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
There's every chance.
Not a chance.
Nicholas Coons over on the right with Mikey Johnson on the left.
But that was suggested why he was brought to the club. He was going to play off the right more often than not. He has to obviously get by Abada first, and Abada, you know, has he done much this afternoon? I'm not too sure, but you'd cut Abada a bit of slack. He's just came back from a lengthy injury, so it's good competition in that position.
Give us the teaser again, Hugh, if you can.
Yes, I have played alongside Ben Chilwell and Angus Gunn. I have been managed by Neil Lennon and Manuel Pellegrini. I have represented 2 clubs in European competition and won my only silverware at both of those clubs. Who am I?
There's a shout coming for Willow Flood.
No.
G thinks it might be Scott Sinclair.
No.
And Greg Gardens, Patrick Roberts.
No,
I had a guess for him already.
Yeah.
Okay, none of them. Oh, maybe it is game on. Tete Yenge. Finally, Livy's penalty woes. They've had their second of the day, and Tete Yenge has now scored. 78 gone. Dundee down to 10, and Livingston have pulled 1 back.
They get a lot of penalties, Livy, don't they?
Oh,
I
yeah.
know we're talking about them missing them, but
see if they had Tavernier in their team, they'd be top of the league.
Celtic free kick, very central, just outside the box. Bernardo and O'Reilly over it.
Bernardo?
Oh, he'll have that in his locker.
Yeah, think so.
Oh yeah, Portuguese players always
do they?
Yeah, every single. You come from Portugal, you get a free kick in you.
It's by nationality now, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Cristiano Ronaldo misses a lot more than he scores, doesn't he?
Come on.
He's always been one of them that people like act like he's a good free kick taker, but I don't think the stats back it up.
Same with Roberto Carlos. Remember, he used to get them for about 40 yards. Very rare one would go in.
Figo was brilliant. Portuguese.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, you got any more?
So there we are.
Eusebio,
Rui Costa,
O'Reilly curls it wide. No power on it. There we go.
Bernardo should have
taken it, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
No Portuguese touch.
The Portuguese touch should have been there.
Oh, there we go. Livingston. This is when you know it's not your season. Dundee are down to 10 men. Livy pull a goal back, and then Dundee go and add a third. Honestly, Davy Martindale will be tearing his... Oh, in fact, that doesn't work, but he'll be very frustrated. Livingston 1, Dundee 3. Zach Robinson.
He's going to be lively in his post-match.
Yeah.
He's going to have a go at his players for that, I would reckon, and I think he'd be right to.
But he's done that a lot this season, which is most unlike him, and for me highlights the fact that he knows the game's up as well. What's the point in I assume they're trying their level best.
Yeah, I think the Celtic free kick fell into that category that the St Mirren one had. Too close, as they say, trying to get it up and down. It was just outside the box and central as well, so you don't have the angle to try and work off. But anyway, we're heading in definitely to the closing stages, the final 10 minutes there. Celtic do have the lead. It's a comfortable lead in that Ross County haven't threatened, but it is only one, as Hugh has said.
Where I'll agree with Hugh is I think they're making hard work of it.
For sure.
But for Ross County to pull off a shot, they've got to go up the park and try and create some chances. They ain't doing that. But I think that there'll be a few Celtic fans phoning not happy with this afternoon's work.
Those who are at Celtic Park and who like to give us a call on the way home, they were there to actually witness it, to see it in the raw. And as Gordon Dale said, they're making hard work of it. In fact, that's the understatement of the day. 1-0, and you're not sure, against Ross County.
Macaulay Tate on, youngster at Hearts, been getting rave reviews recently, so he's come on to replace the penalty scorer George Grant, who took the ball off. Well, didn't take it off, but Lawrence Shanklin, was bound to come off the penalties, having missed 3 in a row. George Grant took one today, and he scored it to set Hearts on their way. They're 2-0 up against Aberdeen, and keen to hear what Barry Robson makes of that at full time.
Well, Barry Robson will make of it that we're still in there. We've got 3 games in hand. Blah, positive, blah. Because things are not stacking up for him. The results are not stacking up. A 19-point deficit between Hearts and Aberdeen. You can't rely on the 3 games in hand. You have no idea which Aberdeen turns up on any given day or midweek night. So he's a man under pressure. End of story.
I think he'll be lucky to be on a job next week.
Problem is for Barry as well, when teams start moving as well in the league, like Dundee today will jump above them. And I know again Aberdeen had the games in hand, but when teams start moving above you, I think people start getting a bit tetchy at that.
Celtic waste a free kick, and quite a few inside the ground go for the Gordon DL. Seen enough, just up the road.
Quite right, boys. It's a cold night.
Getting home in time for Gladiators. That has to be the aim now,
Or
doesn't it?
getting
Listen to us.
Or get into the car to dial 0141 951 1025.
I like to get
Strikes you more of a kind of apathetic day than a rage day, doesn't it? You can't be raging at a win if it stays that way. We'll have to wait and see. Alloa 0, Falkirk 5, showing why they're going great guns at the top of the league. Don't know what happened in the cup right enough last week, but Ryan Shanley makes it 5 to Falkirk. Sam Nicholson on for his Motherwell debut. Remember him? Former Hearts youngster.
Good player. He was
Where
good
did
player.
he go after Hearts?
Colorado Rapids.
And Motherwell signed him from.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Came
Didn't
to the
hear that.
Rapids to come to Motherwell.
What did you say in that accent there?
Don't know.
What sort of accent was that?
Colorado at this time of year, probably, world famously picturesque. You can just imagine it. The snow on the mountains.
I used to go there for my knee surgery.
And you
Did
drive
you?
up those roads.
Now he's going past your flat on his way to work.
Yeah, beautiful part of the world, that covered in snow.
Yeah, he has lived some life. You forget that this guy, the level that he operated at, and even his knee-ops took place in Colorado.
I went to see, Richard Steadman, guy that done R9.
He's the most famous knee surgeon,
and he couldn't fix my knee.
He's the only knee surgeon I've ever heard of, so that tells its own story.
Because he set up his clinic there in Vale, because the theory was that the skiers would have so many knee injuries that would often ski off the slope straight into his clinic.
He's not paying it, is he? Celtic, obviously.
Celtic.
Just imagine R9.
Well wasted money.
So my contract might have not been.
And Mark Wilson bowls in to get his knee done.
I gave him a strip.
Listen to this.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Kilmarnock 2, Hibs 2. Mailida. It's a great finish. It goes high past the keeper. Maybe a deflection. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now. The man advantage has worked. Derek McInnes will be furious. Chucked away a 2-0 lead, and you never know, maybe time. Only 81 on the clock. Kilmarnock 2, Hibs 2.
You're right, he will be furious. It was all going so well. Normally it's Hibs who make that kind of mistake, go 2 up and then don't get the job done, but that's a real good one for Mick Montgomery. That takes the heat off him.
Yeah, and I think they could probably go and maybe nick it. But I think 2-0 down, he would accept it 2-2, no doubt about that. It's amazing how the results reverse itself. He was 2-0 up in his first game down there. Derek McInnes come back, made it a bad day for him. He's returned the compliment so far.
Sven Sprangler, one of the best names in Scottish football, undeniably, is on for Graham Carey for St Johnstone. And then Harry Payton for Motherwell goes round the keeper, but he took the ball too wide, and you sense a nervy end to that one. St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 1. Where's the balance there? Are you really going for it? Are you giving everything?
Got to.
Are you a bit scared to let it slip at the other end?
Well, especially Dundee are winning.
I think Motherwell and St Johnstone can forget about Dundee right now.
Nah, well, there's only 5 points, 4 points. 4 points if it stays the same. Long way to go. I would be more 1-1 at Perth. I would go for it. I'd go for a win.
Motherwell.
I'm very attacking.
I was just checking there. Nick Montgomery, since he came in September, this is his 6th game. It's 2-2. 6 games. Started at Rugby Park with a 2-2. Then he had Hearts in there 2-2. He's got Motherwell in there. Another one today. Forget the other couple. But 6 games. So that kind of shows you what his style is. You know, they score plenty of goals. Can he keep the ball at the net the other side though? You've always got a chance against him.
Stirling Albion having a good day. Josh Cooper's got a hat-trick and they're 5-0 up against Kelty Hearts. That one's nearly finished. Those VAR-less games do finish on time. Ours go on a little bit longer. Probably still 10 minutes left at Rugby Park. So we'll see what happens there. Should we round off the teaser then? Will we leave some room for any potential late drama?
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Ben Chilwell and Angus Gunn. I have been managed by Neil Lennon and Manuel Pellegrini. I've represented 2 clubs in European competition and won my only silverware at both of them. I am Brandon Barker.
Brandon Barker, oh my goodness. Livingston won, 10-man Dundee 4, and it's the new signing Michael Mellon Jr. Who's been signed. So there we are, great start to life in dark blue for him. Right, Brandon Barker, well done. Thanks for taking part. Congratulations if you got it right. The winners are in 3rd place Scotia, in 2nd place Stuzy 72, and in 1st place Paula Faulkner. Well done to Paula, the winner of the second half teaser. I'm now thinking this is getting too easy for you, Gordon Dale. I think we need an entire change of approach, because I'm noticing the themes in the question now. So are you. You will see if it's managed by Neil Lennon,
Hibs,
Cyprus.
Yeah,
it's almost like they're trying to. It will be a player that was managed under Neil Lennon only once or twice. You know, do you know what I mean? He's not famous for being managed under Neil Lennon, and I think you're second guessing it and you're figuring it all out. Same with Manuel Pellegrini. You know that it's not going to be one of Manuel Pellegrini's main men when that's a clue. I think we need to.
Let's come up with another game.
No, it's the psychology of it. We just need to tweak 1 or 2 things. But anyway,
I'm bowing out. I can't keep going like this.
You're good at it. Brandon Barker's a good shout.
I couldn't remember his second name until you wrote it down wrongly, and then I got it.
3-0 win for Morton against Arbroath. Turnbull on for Bernardo as the game just threatens to peter out for Celtic, of course.
It petered out for Celtic after about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it certainly has had that feel about it.
Penalty misses completely changed this game.
Just that football is just moments, isn't it? It so often comes to big moments. Lawrence Shanklin subbed, clapped by the fans, standing ovation. Is it? Let's study the body language. Is it a goodbye from Lawrence Shanklin? We will wait and see. Doy just missed a sitter to win it for Hibs. It's a header 6 yards out. Spent some time at Kilmarnock as well, but he couldn't make them pay on this occasion. 6 yards. Scored a few headers in his time.
That would have been remarkable, and Daz would have been right. He said Hibs was his
shocker of the day.
Shocker today.
Still time. Oh, good save from Liam Kelly just when Motherwell needed it. Jai Semi thought he'd nicked it for St Johnstone, but a good save from Liam Kelly. 4 added at Celtic Park.
David Turnbull, do you think he'll be a Celtic player by Friday morning?
Well, I think that's a surprising thing as well, Hugh, that
I think he probably will be.
Nobody coming into Celtic, but Brendan Rodgers spoke about getting people out the door.
Yeah,
there's not been a lot of movement that way as well.
Yeah, if no one offers, then
when you're at a club like Celtic, you always think there would be interest in the players who aren't getting.
Surely there'll be interest in Turnbull.
You would think so, but
it's the wages. You know, can they come close to his Celtic Park wage?
Yeah, but if you look at, say for instance, a championship club, I'm certain that they could come close
and
to.
they would compete with the Celtic money, wouldn't they? And it's
yeah,
not
100%.
It's not unrealistic to think that that could be a level that may have a look, but we will see. We did say we're into the 4 minutes added at Celtic Park. Oh, big opening, big chance. Ross County, a break forward. Jordan White's shot though was tame, palmed away by Joe Hart. There was a County player lurking, but he gathers it at the second attempt. Hearts and mouths, Hugh.
Well, this is as ropey as it gets for Celtic. I know that the Rangers game, before anyone starts the usual what about them, the Rangers game was very, very poor, but this game has been equally, if not worse than the Rangers game. It's a ropey performance, and you know, there's so many players there. We've discussed Turnbull, Abada. Will they still be there? Kyogo, a shadow of himself. Matt O'Reilly, I think, has been affected by a week of headlines about Atletico Madrid. Bernardo not at the races, missed a sitter. It has been as ropey as it gets for Celtic. And Joe Hart, almost cost them first half.
I don't know, Mark, sometimes you have to win like this, but Celtic, if you're a Celtic fan with high standards, you'll certainly feel like, Hugh, it's going to be a 6th win in a row unless something changes here. And there was a feeling before the break that Celtic were in a really good place. Obviously they had beaten Rangers, comfortable against St Mirren, albeit with the aid of the sending off. They had gone up to Dens and won comfortably, so they're on a good winning run. This is just not as convincing as people thought it would be today.
No, and that's the disappointing thing. I mean, the fans go along to support the team and want entertainment, and it's probably been void of that today. Like, the one thing they go home with is 3 points of these remaining minutes close out like this. And at the end of the league season, that's all that really matters. But of course, when you get a new signing in there, you're playing these games right in the middle of a transfer window where you're not bringing much in. The Celtic fans will expect more on the pitch.
I'll guarantee you that we will get calls having a real go at the board for this afternoon's performance.
It's always a bit of both though, isn't it? Because you're not looking at that team today and thinking this needs okay, Burnaby's a really good example, because is he still your backup left back? What's the story there? I mean, other than that, you're talking about Matt Riley. You're linked with Atletico Madrid. Bernardo, everyone's saying he can take the place he plays. Kyogo, the one new signing is there already. Surely the players that are there should be doing better than this
all day long. It will be a mixed bag, but I think the board will come in for a bit of criticism because of the transfer window. I think it'll be interesting to hear Brendan Rodgers' take on it, because if you're Brendan Rodgers and you're looking, I totally agree, we can't have double standards and say Rangers, it was all about the result and then change your mind with Celtic, but it was different for Celtic.
Home
today.
games are different, they always are.
Home game against a struggling Ross County side with 6 new players in there, you're expecting
there's
Celtic
another
to go and win
County
that.
chance. Jordan White knocks it down for Josh Sims, but it's an awkward height. It goes over the bar. It's not a clear chance as such. Let me give you full time from Tynecastle with Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, full time Hearts 2, Aberdeen 0. Hearts fans delighted. The Dons fans to my right not particularly, because sometimes VAR goes for you, sometimes it's against you. Aberdeen benefited midweek against St Johnstone. Today VAR stepped in to disallow a brilliant Bojan Majowski goal, and then the second half ordered the penalty for Hearts for handball, which George Grant scored. Lawrence Shantlin got the second in a good second half performance by the home side. Little of note to report in the first 45. Aberdeen the better team, comfortable possession. Best piece of play came in that disallowed goal in 25 minutes. Really good move on the right hand side, with Bojan Majowski taking a really lovely touch to open up his body and curling a brilliant left foot shot high into top right hand corner. Kevin Clancy was sent to the screen by Alan Muir, the VAR referee, and he disallowed the goal for a foul by Barron on Beningame in the build-up. But as Hearts had stepped up in the second half, they were much better in the final third, and they took the lead in the 56th minute. Alan Forrest on the left-hand side fired the ball across. It hit Nicky Devlin in the hand. It wasn't much the defender could do. Kevin Clancy was in a really good position. He said no penalty, but Alan Muir, the VAR referee, sent him to the screen, and Kevin Clancy gave the penalty, and it was George Grant, not Lawrence Shanklin, that took it. Brilliant penalty by the midfield player, top left-hand corner. Really good strike. Almost 2 on the hour. Alan Forrest hit a fierce left foot shot towards the top left-hand corner. Kelly Roos at full stretch, just got a touch. It was enough to take it onto the roof of the net. 66 minutes. Shanklin thought he had scored a nice move on the right-hand side. Forrest and not even off set the striker up 20 yards out. He struck the ball sweetly, and Kelly Roos again at full stretch got a hand to the ball to save well. Little senior Dons in the second half. Barry Robson threw on Sockler and Duke in an effort to get an equaliser, but they didn't really have a clear chance at Clark's goal. In 77 minutes, game was over, 2-0 to Hearts. A brilliant finish by Lawrence Shang. A loose ball inside the penalty box. He took an excellent touch and just finished. He curled it with the outside of his right foot high into the top corner from 16 yards. A finish of top quality. Hearts, good unbeaten run continues, 6 wins and a draw, comfortably third place after an excellent second half performance. A good day all round, but defeat has to mean that third is out of reach for Aberdeen already. 19 points behind Hearts. They dropped to 8th. Be a long drive home tonight for the Aberdeen fans and the Aberdeen players. Full time at Tynecastle, Hearts 2, Aberdeen 0.
Full time Celtic Park, Andrew McLean.
Celtic 1, Ross County 0. The full-time score, a goal within a minute, and penalty drama in the first half were the main attractions. A bit flat overall, but it's still 3 points for Brendan Rodgers' side. Alistair Johnson was the man that made it the perfect start for Celtic. Alexandro Bernabe's cross found Leila Bada. His shot was blocked. It fell to Alistair Johnson at the edge of the box. He let loose with a shot. It took a huge deflection, and there was no chance for George Wickens in the Ross County goal as the ball bundled its way into the net. Ross County actually looked decent after that. You know, it was a team that's full of new signings, 6 coming in this month, all starting today, but they just couldn't test Joe Hart in that period where they were putting on a bit of pressure. But 23 minutes in, it was George Wickens in the Ross County goal that had some work to do, because Celtic got a penalty. Callum McGregor going down under the challenge of Simon Murray. It was Lewis Palmer that stepped up to take low into the left corner, but Wickens got down low first and palmed it away. There was a VAR check, and that saw that 3 Ross County players had encroached into the box when the penalty was being taken. A retake was ordered. Lewis Palmer stepped up. He went the exact same way again, but so did George Wickens, making the save again and keeping the score at 1-0. Celtic were almost made to pay for it just before the break as well. Jan Dander's corner headed off the bar by Will Nightingale. The defender probably should have done better as well, with Joe Hart caught under the ball. Into the second half, barely any chances really. Celtic had the majority of the ball, no real threatening shots on goal. George Wickens in the county net, he had to deal with a few balls across the face of goal, a few crosses, but nothing too drastic really. Nicholas Kuhn came on for his Celtic debut, but wasn't involved too much really, apart from a few touches here and there. You wondered whether the late chance would come for Ross County to try and get that equaliser, and it did. Josh Sims on the break got the pass away to Jordan White at the edge of the box. The ball was maybe slightly behind him and the shot was tamed. Joe Hart went down to his right, got a hand on it and had to get up quickly and gather it again at the feet of a Ross County player. Josh Sims, a couple of moments later, also sent one over the bar in the dying seconds. There were actually a few boos from the Celtic crowd when the full-time whistle went, but Celtic open up that gap again to 5 points. The full-time score at Celtic Park, Celtic 1, Ross County 0.
Well, Celtic fans, what did you make of that? The league table tells you it was a positive outcome and you've stretched the lead again, but was it good enough performance-wise? Certainly narrower than most of you would have expected. Get all your thoughts in right now, please. 01419511025. Desperate to hear from you. Full time, McDermott Park, Dave Galloway. Get to Dave in the not too distant future, actually. Forgot he's not with us right this second. Any others? No. Whilst we wait on David Friel, who I think is getting in touch. Yes, it's finished. Rugby Park, David.
Full time, Gordon Kilmarnock 2, Hibs 2. What a game. Both sets of fans are clapping here. A brilliant advert for Scottish football. We had absolutely everything here. Great goals, a red card, 2 teams going at it. Killie were 2-0 up. They will feel they threw it away, but Hibs will also feel they could have won it at the end. As Mark said, this was the 6th 2-2 draw of Nick Montgomery's tenure, and will go down as a good point in the end for Hibs given how they got it. Killie grabbed the opener 25 minutes. Danny Armstrong, he was excellent throughout. He whipped across to the back post. Corey Ndaba, forced still invented to head into his own net. Matty Kennedy could have had a hat-trick in the first half. Finally got on the score sheet 9 minutes into the second half. Armstrong again claimed the assist. This time Kennedy poked the ball in at the back post. Hibs looked finished at that point, dead and buried, but suddenly they found a new lease of life. Jair Tavares almost scored before Joe Newell grabbed an absolute beauty in 65 minutes. A cross was cleared out and the midfielder gave Kieran O'Hara no chance with a brilliant volley. What a goal it was. Killie found themselves down to 10 men 73 minutes when a VAR check saw ref Grant Irvin giving Daba a straight red for a foul on Tavares. Hibs kept pressing and Mai Zian Mayolida claimed his first goal to make it 2-2 in 81 minutes. He found space at the edge of the box and crashed a brilliant finish high into the net. Hibs could even have won it at the end. Christian Doidge on as a sub. He was clean through, headed wide from 6 yards, but it finished a point apiece. Full time Rugby Park, Kilmarnock 2, Hibs 2.
We're going to hear from Dave Galloway as well to let us know what happened there at McDermott Park. I can at least tell you, if you're on the edge of your seats, that it finished 1-1 between St Johnstone and Motherwell. I'll tell you what, I'll give you that match report when we come back. In the meantime, right now, 01419511025. Started off with a win for you Rangers fans. Not pretty, but a tough game on the road, maybe. That's how you're seeing it. You can let us know. Celtic fans, same scoreline, home against Ross County. What did you make of it? I'm hoping we catch people on their way out of the game. That's always the aim. But if you manage to keep up to speed with the game from elsewhere, how do you feel it went? 01419511025. Call now and we will get you on next.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lucas Volvo. Buy your next car or book your MOT service or repair online. The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lucas. New or used, they've got something for every taste. Visit them today. After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
I can see thoughts from Celtic Park already making their way to these phone lines, so stay tuned for that and add your thoughts if you so wish. Looking for you Rangers, St Mirren, Motherwell fans, Hearts fans, Aberdeen. The more the merrier. Get in touch right now and let me give you the full-time story from McDermott Park with Dave Galloway, who watched that one.
Full-time St Johnstone 1 and Motherwell 1. A perfect start by Saints. 3 minutes gone and a free kick into the box was bundled in from close range by Ryan McGowan, and after a long VAR delay the goal stood. Graham Carey blasted a long range free kick which was held by Liam Kelly at the second attempt as the home side chased the second goal. But Motherwell were also looking dangerous, and Blair Spittle whipped a really good ball into the box, and Dimitar Mitov superbly blocked Theo Bair's close range effort. However, the equaliser came after 29 minutes, another brilliant Spittle cross, and Bair this time headed into the net. It was an end-to-end encounter in the first half, entertaining, and Saints Benji Kimpioka raced onto a long ball over the top, lifted it over Liam Kelly but couldn't finish it off. A good first half then, as I've said, and Benji Kimpioka burst into the box for St Johnstone soon after the restart, only to shoot straight at Liam Kelly. Both teams having a right good go for the well. Georgie Gent's rising drive from the edge of the box was just over, and at the other end Dialang J. Simi was set up by Graham Carey but drove high and wide. The visitors started pressing and started getting on top. Harry Payton turned and shot just wide after a really nice build-up. He should have hit the target though, and Payton went through, clean through and goal, took the ball round Dimitar Mitov but took it too wide and the chance was gone. St Johnstone though almost went 2-1 up late on in this game. Jay Simi's diving header from Connor Smith's cross forcing a fine save from Liam Kelly. Good game overall. It ended St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 1.
Let's go then. Phone lines time. 0141 951 1025. Scott is a Celtic fan. What did you make of today, Scott?
Well, I was on before Christmas and I said it was scunnered after the game. I think he called it the Scunnerati. Well, I'm doubly scunnered today. We won, but that was dreadful football. Absolutely dreadful. Where is this guy getting? He's a top tier manager, or where did the media get this from? What was top tier about that performance today? The only player, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, that came out of that game with any pass marks, and he came out, he's probably the best player in the park again, was Liam Scales. See the rest of them? No interest. There seemed to be, I don't know whether it's from the manager, from the coaching team, from, I don't know what, but we Kyogo must be sick of the sight. He must have a sore neck, because all he did was look up and see the ball hurling by him. A ridiculous game of football today, and the manager's going to take. Why are we playing one man up front against one of the worst Ross County teams that's been in the Premier League at home? Why?
See that stuff, right? Is that not just Celtic have won multiple trebles with one man up front. In 2024, two strikers doesn't equal more goals. Surely we all accept that by now.
Do you remember the game that Celtic were losing at Ibrox? I think with 10 men, and he brought on Odson Edward and kept Moussa Dembele in the park. We won 3-2, I think the game ended up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I just think that look, there's loads in there we can get, but that stuff's too simple, Mark. Scott kind of sidestepped it. Celtic have won multiple trebles with one man up front. This idea that you just play two strikers and it gives you more goals, just not the way it works. However,
well, they've not got two strikers for a start.
Scott is not happy with the performance. Is that understandable?
I think that is understandable. I think a lot of Celtic fans will go away today frustrated, not entertained really, and that's that's what they expect when they go to Celtic Park, especially when you see the contrast between the two teams, the budgets, the players Celtic's got compared to the moment Ross County's in at the minute. Look, if the penalty goes in, it may have taken on a different shape the game, but it doesn't. So the players on the pitch have to produce much more. Palma, even though he misses two penalties, he's got to produce much more. Abada, I said I cut him a wee bit of slack because he's coming back off a long-term injury. That's fine, but the others have to contribute to make that a much more comfortable afternoon, create more chances, get the fans on the edge of their seat, and it clearly wasn't there today. Now again, the only crumb of comfort they can take away is that they didn't concede in the last minute. We heard the reports here that Ross County had a few forays up the pitch, and we've seen that in past years where teams will nick one and it compounds your poor afternoon. So 3 points, but the fans are right to be frustrated today.
Just to introduce a sense of perspective, Scott's first point was that he clearly didn't fancy Brendan Rodgers. Where do you guys get the idea he's a top tier manager? Now, Brendan Rodgers has won trebles, successive trebles with Celtic. He has been a good manager in England with Liverpool and Leicester. Won the FA Cup for Leicester, first and only time in their history. So let's not lose sight of the fact that his record tells you he's a top tier manager. However, where Scott is exactly correct is that the performance today from Celtic was nothing short of rubbish, and they are now 15 games away from the end of the Championship. The next two games are away from home, Aberdeen followed by Hibs. A performance like that, even against mediocrity at Aberdeen, and you never know what at Easter Road, a performance like that today will get Celtic no points. So the transfer window closes on Thursday. I repeat what I said to you last week, Gordon, on Super Scoreboard. If any Celtic supporter can stand in front of me and tell me that Nicholas Kuhn from Rapid Vienna adds up to a successful transfer window, then they are kidding themselves on.
You know the way this works, Scott. Some fans will tell you that Ange Postecoglou last season, it was 2-1 at home to Ross County. The next home game, it was 2-1 at home to Livingston. These things happen. You need days like this to win the league. Why does this feel different to you?
The performance, at least with Ange's team, you were going to game and there was some enjoyable football. Today was nothing short of murder. I mean, we're talking about a team that's got a lot of good players. Matt O'Reilly, we're talking about £30 million. I didn't see him about £30 million playing for us today. Callum McGregor as well, non-existent. All I'm saying is I went to the game today and I thought, we scored early on, I thought we might score 3 or 4 here, let's get a bit of rhythm going, and we didn't, we were nowhere near it. But see, before you put me off, I'd like to say commiserations to Stuart Gray and his family. I seen Stuart making his debut, I think it was at Celtic Park. Well, I might be wrong with that. So sad to hear he passed away today. Very sad. At a 50-year-old, it's nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe brings it into perspective, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, indeed, well said. Don't mind that at all. Thank you to Scott on the line. Scunnard with a 1-0 win, said Scott. What about Mark and Hamilton? Where are you on the Scunnard scale, Mark?
Couldn't be any more Scunnard myself watching that.
Well, you could, because Celtic could have dropped points, surely.
Nah, they could have. No, we're watching a team that have not got any. The big word's quality. None. Palma and Abada, I'm looking to, as you said earlier on there, but off your want them off the seat watching them and buy players. And honestly, that's Abada. I don't know what the lads would think about how much we'd get for him, but see in the summertime, 5 million, 6, 7 million, take it. He doesn't excite anybody, and I'm not got wearing that one that Mark says about him coming back after injury. We're watching that every time he is playing. The lad Kunit just come on. He looks just at the same as I've got. Weak. I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to put my head in the block here. They're not winning a title with that team. And if the board don't come up with something before Thursday, there's no chance of Celtic winning a title this season.
We've been a little bit harsh on Nicholas Kuhn, certainly. I mean, he came on in the 64th minute. I mean, can we give him a bit longer?
No.
Come on.
I'm telling you, I'm sticking my head on the block here, Gordon. I'm telling you now, looks like exact same players we've got at Celtic Park. And we'll wait. I'll give the lad a chance, obviously, I've said that. But he's going to be, give him this 4 months, whatever's left of the season. He looks the exact same player as we've got. They're all weak players.
It's not about that. It's about giving it the chance. Remember Kyogo, he just arrived and did he come on at Tynecastle and everybody went, what's this? And Celtic lost. Who's this guy?
But
and you'll know what happened thereafter.
The Celtic fans
even by your standards though, Hugh.
Yeah,
a half an hour subs appearance.
Well, that's par for the course. But the last 2 transfer windows, and this one is yet to be completed, but the last 2 transfer windows have brought in 11 players. And have any of them been truly successful? Bernardo had that little purple patch against Dundee, Rangers, St Mirren, but today, not a lot. Louis Palmer, flatters to deceive, don't give him a penalty again. The 2 transfer windows have been failures, out and out failures. And when the manager says at the annual general meeting of the club shareholders that he wants 4 players in the window of quality, and right now he has one who has just come in, had 25 minutes, and no one knows for sure, but a winger from Rapid Vienna. That so far is the transfer window for Celtic. The 2 transfer windows have been a flop.
But I think the problem is, Hugh, as much as I sort of agree with you, they've not really excited me, the transfer windows. But you look at that Celtic team today, and they should be producing a lot better. People go along there in droves and pay a lot of good hard-earned cash. You're not guaranteed entertainment every week, of course you're not. But with this quality that Celtic have got at their disposal now, then we're not giving Ross County a bit of credit. You know what I mean? Celtic missed a penalty, defining moment. Ross County dug in, well organised, 6 new players in the team, obviously improved them. But I sort of agree with Mark. I think in Scott, I know how angry Scott is. I don't agree with Mark with Goon. A new player coming in and coming on 64 minutes, that's nonsense. You've got to give the boy time to see what he's got to bring. But I think Celtic supporters are a bit concerned if it continues like this, especially at Celtic Park, then they can see Rangers being a real problem.
Where Mark on the line has got it right is that there seems to be a production line of people who all come in and look like Kuhn, who looks like Paulo Bernardo, who looks like home, and you know there's nothing there. They're not lifting people out of their seats, and Mark on the line knows that to be the case. The goalkeeper today almost sold the jerseys.
We've been a bit sweeping though. I mean, Paulo Bernardo got people off their seat in the game against Rangers, didn't he?
Yeah, but as I said to you, he was not highly thought of until he got to Dundee and scored. Then he scored against Rangers. Then he had a great game against St Mirren, and now 3 games does not make a career, as 25 minutes does not make a career for Kuhn.
Is that Luis Palma off the penalties, Mark?
Oh, definitely, Gordon. I mean, I couldn't believe he took the exact same penalty kick again. Jeez, that's unbelievable. But listen, we need to get somebody who takes penalty kicks that can strike a ball. But it's disappointing to watch out, especially as Gordon said there at home. It's not great to watch. It's really poor stuff.
Poor from Palma, wasn't it? Because as we said, you don't know at that point. When your big moments come along, you take care of them. I don't know, I'm not a betting man. I'm pretty sure we're not having these types of conversations if the penalty goes in and you're 2-0 early. So on one hand you can say, look, people miss penalties, what's the big deal? But on the other hand you say, well, Celtic have missed a few. Should they be doing better? Should you certainly not be getting 2 in a row saved when you get the retake?
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, it's a psychological battle then as soon as you get a retake and you decide I'm taking it again. So it's you against the goalie. Daz touched on it earlier, do you go the same side? And he does, and he's missed them there before. So look, I would suggest that he takes a stint off the penalties, as good a set piece taker as he is, and allows someone else. But it has been a problem with
the problem is
plagued Celtic.
There's nobody stepping up to the mark and saying, look, I'm going to take the penalty kicks. Of course it's difficult. I've been there, Mark's been there. It's not as easy as everybody thinks. Let me tell you, right? Because everybody thinks, oh, a professional footballer, ball for 12 yards should never miss. It doesn't happen that way. Pressure and everything comes into it. But there's nobody there that... Who's the next one then? Who, Cal McGregor's missed, Kyogo's missed. You've had a few of them. Turnbull's had a few missed, but he's on the bench. But I think the penalty kick was a big point today. If that goes in, I think we're having a different conversation tonight. I think Celtic would have cruised that game. But the minute that doesn't go in, it gives such a lift to Ross County players, and Celtic struggled.
First caller was harsh on the manager. Mark, how do you feel about him?
I don't know. The jury's out on whether they can see a good player or not. But I can see with Brendan Rodgers, because it has been a bit. The last couple of things, a few says, have been really disappointing to watch what they're buying and find. They look for they're paying their money, and that's what I look for. See if you buy a player at $1 million or $1.5 million, $2 million, $2.5 million, that's what you're getting. Look at Jota for $6.5 million. Carter Vickers run about the same price. It's another level up, and they don't have that. They're not buying that now, and that's going to the board again.
It's one of those days that if someone had just arrived in this part of the world and wasn't aware of our ways and they turned on the radio, I'd be obliged to tell them Celtic did win today. But this is Glasgow, and that never tells the full story. So thanks to Mark, and if you want to add your thoughts, now's a good time. And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They've got Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. The Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showroom found in Hillington. And right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Every approved used Jaguar, Land Rover or Volvo comes with a minimum of 12 months warranty, roadside assistance, MOT test warranty, an independent mileage and service history check, software updates and lots more. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now back to the podcast.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson, Gordon Dalziel in the studio on a day that the lead at the top of the Premiership stayed exactly the same, because Rangers won by a goal to nil in Paisley. Celtic followed it up by winning by a goal to nil at home to Ross County. The big losers today were Livingston, battered 4-1 at home by 10-man Dundee. So Dundee would go amongst the big winners. Hearts also beating Aberdeen, so Aberdeen's woes continue. And nothing can separate Motherwell and St Johnstone. A share of the spoils today, still level there on 21 points. Paul's a Celtic fan on the line. Paul, it was a win today, but I'm detecting not many people taking the positives from that. How do you feel?
No, it was a terrible game. Obviously it was 3 points. I don't think anybody that was there today would have thought after the first minute that they were going to be clinging on to it right at the end. Because Ross County could have scored a couple of times in the last couple of minutes. And if what they say on the internet this morning is true, that Celtic aren't going to be bringing any more players in, if we don't win the league this season, it is entirely down to the board. I've been a season ticket for over 35 years, and I'm thinking, if we don't win the league, I'm not going back. I'm seriously not happy about it. I spend nearly £700 of my money every year on a season ticket. During the summer, we bought 10 players and mediocre players and prospects. Brendan Rodgers said he wanted 3 or 4 players. We knew we needed strengthened, and now we're sitting. The transfer window shuts on Thursday, and unless they start moving players in and out, Rangers could well go away with this.
I'll always admire any fan that spends their money, Paul, but you've seen a fair bit of success for your money, have you not? Are you ready to chuck it all in if Celtic don't give you the success you want this season?
It's the same with the Champions League. You know, I used to go to the Champions League games all the time, but now I don't bother because what's the point in going and watching your team getting beat 3 times and you're up to £120 to watch it? Because Celtic can't compete at that level. We don't have the players and the board don't show the commitment. Yes, we have had a lot of success for that, but I'm scunnered. I'm joining the guy in the scunnerati. I think the board are just ruining it. I don't know what's happened between Ange being here and Ange getting all his work done really early. We know right at the start of the window who we're getting in. Whether it's the summer window, whether it's the winter. Ange had his players. He had them all lined up. I mean, what's happened there? Is it a problem with? I mean, they can give us it all the time. Oh, there's no point paying money out for the wrong players. They should have, scouted these players long ago. And I'm just not happy with the way that we are doing business in the transfer window.
The fans and the club are on a collision course. Just to try and clarify matters, the board pay a head of recruitment, Mark Lowell, and they pay Brendan Rodgers, and handsomely, to bring in players. The players who are brought in the summertime transfer window have all but flopped entirely, and we await Nicholas Kuhn, and we want to see what kind of progression he makes. Will there be anyone in by Thursday? I don't know, and no one knows for sure, because again, Mark Lowell and Brendan Rodgers know, but it's not social media's place to know, because it's the inner workings of the football club. But the signings, the last 11 signings, are all under scrutiny, every one of them, and some will be shipped out. Kwan's gone already, Kobayashi's going, Lagabielka's probably going. They're having to get rid of people that they brought in 6 months ago. So the club and the fans are on a collision course, and if Celtic don't win the league, it's explosion time.
Yeah, look, the problem Celtic board have got at the minute with calls like Paul and fans out there like Paul is that when you make your figures public, of course, and the profits that you've made over the year, when the transfer window comes around and you spend very little of that, of course you're going to get fans complaining. A large majority will complain because fans see the transfer window as an exciting time for your club. It's a time to bolster your team, rejuvenate it, add that wee bit of spice, entertainment when things haven't been quite right in the first part of the season, even though they're sitting top of the league. And when you don't do that, you leave yourself open to criticism, and that's where we're getting the calls from. The frustration towards the Celtic board because money isn't being spent. So, but Paul's right. People get out the door as well. I think Brendan Rodgers will be frustrated at that. He has to make space as well. Can't he just keep stockpiling players? So where he needs to add, and he's made that clear, he wants quality come in. Kuhn's the first one. He needs to get the dregs of the squad out, and that's sometimes more difficult than fans understand.
Is it all, just let me ask Paul, is it all doom and gloom though, Paul? It's a lot of calls, the same theme, and I asked one of the previous callers, do you not just get days like this if it's on your way to a title win? Maybe even the much praised Ange Postecoglou, was there not days like this, or does this feel different? Why the swell of negativity after a win?
I think it's the style of play. I mean, with Ange, it didn't always, it wasn't every day we never stop or whatever. There were bad games under Ange as well, but there's just been, I think we've drawn 2 games at home this season, and there's been some terrible performances, and I don't know what it is. They seem to play better when they're away from home. I don't know whether the crowd is just so quiet at Celtic Park. Obviously, there was a time there when the Green Brigade went there to generate some atmosphere. But, yeah, I mean, we've had it for so many managers, and there are going to be off games. But I think the wins against Rangers have kept our heads above the water. When we went there in August, I think everybody was expecting us not to win. And there again, in December, I was surprised that we won. because Rangers have been picking up wins all over the place. Our form just wasn't there. There's no. I don't think there's many glimmers of hope. I mean, Hatate, when he comes back, and if he's fit, that's going to be a huge plus for Celtic.
I'm always so torn on this because, Mark, I get I know that the expectations are totally different, and they should be. And just because you win doesn't mean you're not allowed to criticise, and Celtic fans are allowed to want more. But to hear phrases like "there are no glimmers of hope" when you're top of the league, that's the bit. It's the depth of that nonsense. That as a non sort of Old Firm fan growing up, I just don't. No glimmers of hope.
Yeah, I can't get my head round things like that. I get that people will go along to Celtic Park and they pay their hard-earned money for a season ticket and want to be entertained. They want to go there and see Celtic win 5-0 every week, and if they don't, it's an absolute catastrophe because that's what they pay for. But that's not realistic, is it? That's no football. That's no real football. Along the way, you will get disappointments. Matt Riley linked with Atletico Madrid for 20 whatever million, and he plays like he did against Ross County today. That's allowed. That happens. But he will pop up in many more games and be outstanding. Teams play like that, so I get they're frustrated on the day, but no glimmers of hope when you're sitting top of the league. Well, for those Celtic fans just now, right? No glimmer of hope. What would you rather be? Would you rather be in the position Celtic are in just now, or would you rather be in the position Rangers are in just now, chasing? Of course you'd choose to be top of the league, 5 points clear, or whatever it is. Of course you would.
Well, 5 just now,
yeah. Yeah. When you've set the standards that Celtic have set over the past few years, Gordon, and you're not playing to that style of football, I think everybody thought today, especially when they were on Ross County was on, Celtic got an early goal, expectations go so high, you're thinking, and I did as well, penalty kick, if this goes in, this is anything. I said it in the show. It turns out to be a struggle. Celtic fans are not happy. Then they start picking the bones out of everything. But what you've got to look at, the most important thing is the league table, and Celtic are still sitting top of it. I'm sure Rangers would bite your hand off to be in that position, but I think the Celtic fans then start picking the bones of the transfers, the style of play, the difference between Postecoglou. Look, there are going to be more games like this, but it's all about winning games.
We are dealing in knee-jerk reaction, and I understand that Celtic's performance was so poor that we are dealing in knee-jerk reaction. However, that does not mean that a problem does not exist. And I
said all that though. That to me, there seems like quite a sizable gap between this needs to be better and there are no glimmers of hope. There's a lot of ground in there for me in between those two.
Of course, there are no glimmers of hope is not a sentence that's applicable here, because obviously there are more than glimmers of hope. However, the fans are looking at the recruitment over the last 6 months, and it has been awful. And you look at the remainder of the season, and I go back to the point, Aberdeen and Hibs might not be the Aberdeen and Hibs of old, but Celtic have to go to Pittodrie and Easter Road back to back next 2 games. The league could be in the balance where those 2 games are concerned.
Thank you very much to Paul. What about Andy on the line? It's a similar theme. Andy, are you on to tell us how pleased you are that Celtic won?
No.
Didn't think so. Take it away.
I don't always agree with Hugh Keevins.
Good idea.
But I have to agree with Hugh Keevins. Everything Hugh Keevins said has been totally honest and truthful. Celtic have got no chance in heck of winning the league if they play like that today. But again, it comes down to the manager.
What about him?
I don't think he should have come back.
Why?
Because if it happened to Neil Lennon said and stated he took Celtic as far as he could take them. Brendan Rodgers kind of had done the same thing, and then the two of them come back and Celtic have been lacklustre and nothing.
Again, Hugh, to compare those two, I don't know, because like we said, he's still top of the league. I would accept, see if Celtic fall behind. If Celtic don't win the league, then I think you could say that he should never have come back. Right now it feels like it's to be decided, basically.
The Celtic fans' mindset is, I believe, as follows. Peter Lawwell shouldn't have come back. He was chief executive and Celtic failed to win 10 in a row on his watch. He shouldn't have come back as chairman. Neil Lennon failed to win 10 in a row, was sacked, and that would be approved of by the supporters who were outside the ground chanting against him while he was still in office. Brendan Rodgers will never be forgiven by an element of, and I underline element of, the Celtic support because he left mid-season, even though Celtic won the league, and even though he left Neil Lennon with a 9-point start on the rest. Brendan Rodgers will never be forgiven by some. I think that's wrong. I think he's been treated almost like a common criminal since coming back. For me, you can isolate this problem down to the fact that the last 2 transfer windows have brought in players who are not good enough to play for Celtic, bottom line. I'm not talking about the Champions League, Europa League, Europa Conference League. Celtic will never amount to a hill of beans in any of those competitions. But the fans want the championship to be won. And right now they're looking at players and they don't believe in them. Although Hatate, Maeda, Kyogo, O'Reilly, they believe in them, but they look at the rest and they just don't have the same faith.
I mean, Andy says Celtic will never win the league. Not a chance in heck they'll win the league if they play like that. And he might be right.
But not play like that.
But I was going to say, in every league winning season, are there performances where you could say, well, we won't win the league if we play like that? I'm assuming, yeah, as you said,
100%. You cannot, I don't care who you are, especially in Scotland, and you cannot go every game, be outstanding, your players be outstanding, and win the game comfortably. It doesn't happen. Football does not happen like that. These are games that you look back and I'm listening to the callers come in. Yes, I totally agree, because you know, you go along there, you're entitled to your opinion, you pay your cash. But Celtic won today. Was it pretty? No, it wasn't. At the top of the league, yes, they are. I think that if most of Celtic fans take away today, would fancy Celtic to go and win the league. It's as simple as that. You look across the city. Rangers went to St Mirren today. Rangers fans are happy. Did they play well? Not really. Hard game. They went and won it. Wasn't pretty to watch. That's what sometimes football's about. That's why you become champions. When things are going bad for you and you're not clicking and everything's going the right way, you've got to find a way to win games. I don't think Celtic were impressive today at all, like most of Celtic fans. Most important thing, I keep saying it, we can't have double standards. I know you can put arguments up, Rangers away from home. We were saying today, most important thing, 3 points. Celtic fans happy tonight with performance? Not 3
it's still different away though, isn't it? Of course it is.
Yeah, but what I'm going to say, Gordon, is I looked at a game the day that was defined by a penalty kick, right? I think if Celtic score that penalty kick, Celtic score as many as they want this afternoon. But credit to Ross County, I think they got a great lift from it. I think they dug in, they sort of played their way into the game. Celtic then sort of ran out of ideas, and it became one of these games that we've all been involved in. It got flat.
Okay, let's hear a bit from some managers starting to make their way in. Plenty of time for more calls. Here's Stephen Naismith. Good win for Hearts, beating Aberdeen 2-0. Lawrence Shanklin scored. Was that his last game in a Hearts jersey or not? We'll see.
Good day, good win, and overall probably I'm pleased with the performance. The first half, if you split the game from being a battle to football, battle won. It was that, as with both teams had their points when they actually moved the ball a wee bit, created some chances, but it was really about the fight, and Aberdeen were really aggressive and we probably came out second best on that front. Their wide players naturally want to be inside the pitch, and that caused us an issue for them picking up second balls. Second half we tweaked it slightly, but we started much better. Penalty, once you get the first goal, it changes the dynamic of the game, and a big pleasing thing for us is then we control the game. Our decision making was good, and it could have been more than 2 eventually at the end of the game.
Good win that, wasn't it?
Yeah, very good for Stephen Naismith, because the crowd were rumbling at half time, as they were at half time when Hearts eventually beat Dundee midweek. So no luck for Aberdeen. Thought they'd gone and goal in front through Miovski. VAR put paid to that. in the end, it's a happy night for Stephen Naismith. It's a nightmare journey back to Aberdeen for Robson, because 19 points of a gap between Aberdeen and Hearts is unacceptable, and should be unacceptable to all associated with Aberdeen.
01419511025. Good time to call. We'll try and get you on next.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins and Mark Wilson, Gordon Dalziel, all here looking back on a busy day. A 6-game, 6-hour Saturday for us in the Scottish Premiership. This is what Philippe Clement made of Rangers' win in Paisley earlier. Feels like a long time ago now, but 1-0 thanks to Cyril Desser's goal off the back of that win against Hibs at the weekend, midweek. Sorry.
Yeah, I said it after the Hibs game was. Yeah, it's a special day today. It was advertisement for Scottish football. The way the two teams played, with the tempo, good combination play from both sides, good offensive actions, real intensity, high tempo. And today was the opposite because of the circumstances. So I'm not the guy who can control circumstances. That's not my job. So my job is to see that my team is ready for all the circumstances, and they did today. So I'm even more proud of them than after the Hibs game.
James is a Rangers fan. What did you make of it today, James?
How are we doing, guys? I thought the game itself wasn't the best game of football to watch, but 3 points is the most important thing. And if you can go to a place like St Mirren, who have started the season really well, sort of fell away a wee bit recently, but if you can go there and get 3 points, that's always good. I was on Thursday night and I described Cyril Dessers as a 3-legged donkey, but he's definitely grew that 4th leg now, I think.
Oh, what a moment for him. Honestly, it's like in when an angel gains its wings and It's a Wonderful Life, Hugh. Cyril Dessers is now a 4-legged, fully fledged donkey, apparently, according to James. I think it's meant to be a compliment.
Yeah, there's one in there somewhere. I think James is trying in his own way to offer an apology to Cyril Dessers. I described him as an enigma. Dessers, not James. And that is what he is. He scored his goal against Dumbarton last week after 4 or 5 attempts. He got his goal today after just one go at it. So he gets goals. He's on the same number as Kyogo, and he has yet to make another telling contribution or two, I suspect, to the outcome of this title race. So Dessers is winning them over one by one.
James, I mean, his goal today comes nice and early. How much does that help when you go to what's perceived to be a potentially tricky game?
Well, it's good because it settles the nerves for the supporters, and it definitely settles the nerves for him as well. And I think the fact that if that chance came to him maybe 3-4 weeks ago, he might not do as well. But I think now that his confidence is there, he can round the keeper and he can slot it in. Whereas maybe a few weeks ago he's not doing that. He's maybe taking it too early, or he's overthinking it. Whereas now it's just coming natural to him.
How much does today fill you with confidence that Rangers can win this league because it's grinding out results, etc., etc.? Or how much of today do you think still performance levels need improved?
There's a long way to go left in this league title race. We're no way near favourites to win it, but I still think we can win it. We're only 2 points behind. If we win a game in hand, we're 2 points behind. But we're not to this title race by a long, long way. I still believe we can go on and win the title, but we need Celtic to slip up somewhere.
It's a fair summary, I think, from James Gordon Cyril Dessers. He has been connected to this show ever since he arrived, first because of bad performances. Now it's the redemption arc, as they call it. I don't know if he completes it or not, but he's certainly on the right road, surely. Yeah,
from now to the end of the season, I think he's a player that will get judged in every game he plays gone. I think that if he comes out next week and plays poorly, or he starts, whatever it may be, then I think people will be back on taking a leg off him. They'll be back to the 3-legged donkey,
Nothing
right?
worse.
So I'm liking what I'm seeing on with him. Look, is he lighting it up outside the box? Or he's link up play and everything? No, he's not. But I like the fact that I loved his finishing Wednesday. I thought it was brilliant from a striker's point of view. And today, I totally agree. I think 3 weeks ago he would have hesitated on that. I thought he was very calm.
Thank you, James. Good of you to get in touch and get that leg given back over. Always a nice moment. Ceremonial process for Cyril Dessers. Brendan Rodgers has spoken, and it covers a lot of ground, but the answer here is probably on the theme of what we've been discussing here about, was it good enough? Because there were some boos around even though Celtic won, so he was asked about that, and quite an interesting answer.
I've had that since I've been here. It's not the result, it's me. No, it's me, the board. So all we can do as a team is win games and try to improve and develop and win, and that's what the team have done. So the team and ourselves, the staff, we work very hard every day. So we're very much together, and that's how we'll continue to be. And if it falls below the expectation, then we'll do everything we can to be better.
Is that the one bit where him being here before can help and might help you? Where you know that landscape. If Brendan Rodgers was, I've no idea, a manager imported from somewhere in the summer, and he's sitting there today going, we've just won and there's boos. What is going on here? And can't get to grips with that. At the very least, whether that gives you success or not, I don't know, but at the very least Brendan Rodgers will be calm about that all, because as he says, he's been through it.
I agree with your point. Some fans don't want calm. They want animation. They want Brendan Rodgers to kick up with the board and shake the money tree. And it's Celtic's fault for trumpeting the fact that we get £70 million in the bank, because supporters are saying it's no use to us in the bank. We want to see it spent on proper players on the pitch. And that's why I say club and fans are on a collision course. And if Celtic don't win the league, some fans will want it to be taken out on Brendan Rodgers because he's the whipping boy, he's the scapegoat. His past is of no interest to the supporters. What he has done for Celtic in the past is of no use to them. There are, of course, Brendan Rodgers supporters out there, but some people didn't want him back and therefore will want him out straight away if Celtic don't win the league. They're headed into troubled waters, Celtic. The chairman's son, the manager, the board, everyone is getting it in the neck now, and they are headed into troubled waters, and the next 2 weeks will be crucial.
I mean, so many clubs would love to be in these troubled waters, Gordon. It has to be said. But I get it. I know that if you're doing it off your own standards, then I get it. I mean, there are troubled waters and there are troubled waters.
I think you pick up a good point. Listen to that interview there. That sounds to me like an experienced manager who knows it all and has done it all, and he understands the frustration of the fans, but he's come out with the right things, talking about his staff and his team winning, and he highlighted that because they did win. I know that Celtic supporters want a lot better, of course they do. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I think Brendan Rodgers is very calm, cool and collective. I think he knows the direction he's going. I'm of an opinion that Brendan Rodgers is a very, very good manager. I think he was a good appointment to Celtic. Whether he goes and wins the league or not, I think he's got a fight on his hands, because I think Rangers under Clement have improved immensely, even with the players that he took over from Michael Beale. But I still think Brendan Rodgers can handle the situation.
Well, it's a good result. It's one of those games that when you don't take your chances and take your moments in the game. So obviously making a great start, then of course towards the end it gets a little bit anxious. I think, as I said, made a good start. Missing the penalties, I think, creates that little bit of anxiety in the stadium, and then like we say, we probably then just weren't decisive enough in the first half. I think second half the structure was better. Very difficult to play. You see the pitch and the challenges as far as you see people miscuing the ball totally. It's so, but Joe didn't have too much to do, and then towards the end, obviously they had a little breakaway. He makes a good save, and the guys get the job done.
It's a very modern day problem. I take our learned colleague Mr. DL's point, Mark, about back in his day and so on, but it's not the point of how annoying is that Celtic Park pitch if you're Brendan Rodgers. Forget about all the money you've got to spend on players. I think the pitch is miles off where it should be.
Oh, of course. I mean, I've seen it today. I was shocked at how patchy it was. I know we've had bad weather. However, they invest a lot of money into that park and a lot of ground staff at the club as well. And when you bring a manager in who, you know, his style's dictated with being able to move the ball, move it quickly, you expect a slick surface at home, and they've certainly not got that just now. So, but work needed done in that respect.
We're nearly there, Hugh. It's been a long old day of football, but plenty to get our teeth into. How would you sum it all up?
A draw's a disaster, a defeat's a catastrophe, and a win's a problem. When that win takes you 5 points clear at the top of the table, it's an even bigger problem. But let me not be sarcastic where the Celtic fans are concerned. The fans are on a collision course with the club. The coming days in the transfer window will be of paramount importance. Every night next week on Super Scoreboard, we are going to hear the way the Celtic fans feel about this. And the way they feel about it, they're not happy.
But they're still 5 points clear at the top because they won, and so did Rangers. There was a big win for Hearts against Aberdeen. There was a big win for Dundee against Livy. A share of the spoils between St Johnstone and Motherwell and Kelly Hibs makes for a fascinating return after the winter break. Our first full card in the top flight since the winter break. We are well and truly back, and with that comes lots of talking points to look back on Monday night from 6 o'clock. Thank you for joining us. The GBX is up next.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers. Choose from over 6,000 vehicles, new or used, small or grand.